Scotland who made the start of his life from the back row of the grid. Solberg jokered early and headed into the last lap, sat third behind Ekstrom and Sebastian Loeb, both of whom had yet to take their last corner joker lap. The champ tried everything in the Rallycross book to close the gap, but as Loeb exited the joker, he slotted back into second place behind Ekstrom, who made it 2 wins in a row this year. A superstar lineup indeed on the podium in Belgium, featuring a fantastic second place for Loeb in only his 3rd ever World RX event.
It's always nice to have good results, but more important is to have good performance. That means I didn't feel that the result came by luck. Even I have had luck, but without luck you won't win anything. But we had great lap times, and our starts have also been a step forward compared to last year. So it's quite nice to go to race weekend and know that if I behave well, if I focus, do a good job, we are fighting for the podium and for the win. That's what makes me most happy.
It felt good. I tried to be in the rhythm. I knew before I came in the championship that it will be tough to match the speed of the guys who are doing that since a few years. Mete, it was better. I had a good feeling immediately from the first practice, and I was feeling well in the car, feeling well with the track. And finally, to get in the final and finish second was a good surprise. So still one step to do, but it's getting better.
With 3 rounds down, the championship table looks like this. Matthias Ekstrom sits top thanks to his back-to-back wins in Hockenheim and Belgium. The reigning champ Solberg is second, Christophersen in third, and 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb sits a very respectable 4th. Last year here at Lydden Hill, Petter Solberg won by just 0.3 of a second from Matthias Ekstrom. Some may call it luck, but Petter would say you make your own in World RX.
I knew it will be tight with Ekstrom. So I was pushing pretty hard, and you know the jump at the joker, I landed, I got a puncture. So after that I need to drive very neat to not let him pass, you know. And the drive shaft broke just before the finish line, and I had the luck on my side, and it was a fantastic victory.
Last lap, coming into turn 1, got it pretty much right, and I see Petter is on the outside, and I just didn't get enough traction out of the first corner, and he just slips in front, and then he managed to stay in front. And I tell you, I was so disappointed because I felt we had the edge that weekend, but still you need some luck. For me, it's, as a fan, I think I would have loved it, but being P2, I hated it.
It's a home race for Liam Doran driving the now 2-litre engined Mini. While it's been a long wait for the JRM World RX team, now they have the extra power. Doran will be looking to make a big impact. EKS are building a healthy lead in the Teams Championship, but plenty of rounds left for the chasing pack to close the deficit. For anybody new to World Rallycross, this is how the championship works. Everybody takes part in 4-time qualifying sessions. The top 12 qualify for the 2 semi-finals. The top 3 from each semi go through to the final for a chance to win the event. Drivers scored championship points at all stages of the competition. It's an epic battle from start to finish in World RX. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Great Britain and Lydden Hill, the birthplace of Rallycross, 1,170 metres long. This is one of the fastest circuits on the calendar and usually suits the circuit drivers with 60% asphalt and the gravel being resurfaced. We're on board with Loeb as he comes down into the joker lap, having crossed the start-finish line. Tricky uphill braking, then it's 90 right and 90 left. Get that traction down over the jump and onto the gravel through Chesson's Drift, and you can see the resurfaced road on the right. He takes the right-hand side now for the run down to Devil's Elbow. Off the gravel, pulling gears, braking hard. It's a late apex and then a very, very steep run up the hill. North Bend, the hairpin at the top, braking as late as you can with gravity helping you, and then helping you again on the X as you go down the hill. This is one of the fastest points in the entire championship year, braking just 2 wheels over the white line and then pitch the car into Paddock Bend. Tar onto gravel sideways, don't clip the curve on the left, and it's over the start-finish line to complete the lap. Coming up, We've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3. It's crunch time in Q4. Who will make the semi-final cut? The World RX Supercar semi-finals live. The RX Lights final live. And who's going to win round 4 of FIA World RX? We've got the Supercar final live. Q1 saw Anton Markland continue his run of improved form from Belgium. He took a lights to flag victory in the first Supercar race of the day, setting a very respectable time. Last year's Lydden winner and world champion Petter Solberg was on a flyer. With modifications to the DS3 since Belgium, he went fastest so far and looked on great flamboyant form. Russian driver Timothy Yanov was pushing hard, but being held up by Kevin Eriksson. He made this fantastic move up the inside on one of the fastest corners in the championship to set up a win. Tanner Faust is back as a wild card for Lydden Hill. 2 previous European wins here helped see him on the pace and chasing form man Matthias Ekström. But even Ekström wasn't fast enough to knock Petter off the top spot. He went second quickest. The last race of Q1 saw 3 cars into the Joker off the start, leaving Backerud and Christophersen to fight for the lead. Backerud looked quicker but couldn't find a way past, so Joker to get some clear air. But the damage was already done and he slotted back in behind Loeb. The WRC legend suffered a problem at the very next corner, dropping him down the field, and in the end Backerud did enough to take the win when Christophersen jokered. Loeb had looked to be the only driver on the same pace as Solberg. What might have been for the Frenchman?
Frustrating to lose 10 seconds because the engine cut and finally it works again. So that's motorsport and we have to accept it. It's okay. We try to continue to focus and to continue to push, and we will see.
In Q2, Loeb's recovery began well when he was the first of 3 cars to joker on lap 1, beating Wilkes and Doran off the mark. Ken Block was left with a clear track in front, but an average joker lap cost him a chance of challenging Loeb, who went quickest so far. Reinis Nittisch and Niklas Gronholm came together in turn 1 in their race. Nittisch was black flagged for his part in the incident, leaving Timmy Hansen to pip Loeb by a tiny margin at the top of the timesheet. World RX Team Austria had a disaster in their race. Baumanis broke a drive shaft warming his tyres, which led to a spin in turn 1. And Timozyanov had a battle with Robin Larsson that ended in this contact. Timozyanov's steering was broken and his race was over. And Larsson's car was carrying a broken drivetrain, leading to a spin for him on the gravel. The final race of the day saw Solberg stamp his authority on the event, while behind him Backerud and Ekström squabbled over second place, costing each other time. The world champion sliced 2 seconds off Hansen's pace, won Q2, and in doing so ended Ekström's run of overnight leads.
It's been a great day, and I think it's the hard work we did after Belgium that I made the speed, because they were not been the fastest, and that's never a good feeling, you know. And because Ekström have been the hardest guy, so but now we are on the pace.
Solberg then topping the standings with those 2 wins in Q1 and Q2. Ekström and Backerud the top 3. Loeb, Ken Block, Eriksson and Baumanis are down towards the bottom of the 12, who of course make it through to the semi-finals. At the minute, Guy Wilkes, Tanner Faust, Robin Larsson, and further down the list, Liam Doran and Julian Godfrey struggling at home.
Well, here in the Ford OMSC Olsbergs garage, Niklas Gronholm, this is your first time ever racing at Lydden Hill. How was Q1 and 2 for you?
Q1 was okay, 12th place overall, and the second was unfortunate for me. I had a good line into the first corner, but got hit by Nittisch, so I spun. But yeah, that's rallycross, but overall, I think it's a good place to attack for the semis, and I like the track. It's fast.
And how are you settling into this discipline in this car, in supercars, because you've jumped straight in at the very sharp end of this sport?
Yeah, it's not easy competing against the best guys in the world. They're really fast, and we have a lot to learn, but we're moving forward day to day.
Well, we hope to see you in the semis. Thank you very much, Niklas. If we move along here, we've got 2 more of these Fiestas, and here are the other 2 drivers. On the left now is Guy Wilkes. First of all, Guy, You had a great result here at Lydden Hill last year. Different car, different team. How was Q1 and 2 for you?
Q1 was a little bit frustrating. Obviously, last year we set the bar quite high, or I set my own bar quite high, and we did well and got to the final. I think the general bar in World Rallycross has been raised, and I was a little bit anxious. Haven't really tested the car at all, and first start, I got into the launch procedure a little bit too early, and the clutch started to heat up and bite and bite and bite, and then all of a sudden just started to drag and basically lost the start. It just started creeping. I made a jump start, so I had to do 2 jokers. Not ideal. Second one was much better, but we just had to try and evolve the setup. We're still trying to find setup, obviously, with not testing, and we're chasing the game a little bit.
Well, I hope that the British crowds can give you some support, but maybe a little bit of pressure briefly?
Both. I like pressure and I like support, so hopefully they can bring both.
Okay, good luck. Hope to see you in the semis. And right next to you, turning straight to Kevin. Currently, you're in the top 12, which is very good. Are you happy in the position you're in after Q2?
Of course, and at the moment I'm in the semi-finals, so I mean that's where I want to be. But of course I want to be a little bit higher up. But we struggle a little bit, in the Q1 and 2, and but we'll make some good changes, I think, and we will try outside the box. Use this. All the other guys are so quick, so we need to find some more pace. But we'll see. I will push as much as I can.
Now, we know you're a very talented driver and you're in a very good team. It's in the family. But give us some idea how, you've got Ken Block's team over there. You've got Sebastian Loeb and Petter Solberg. Briefly, give us an idea of what it's like to try and be competitive in this field.
I mean, it's really tough. The last 2 years of FIA World Rallycross has, been a really good development. And all the cars are getting quicker and quicker. But, we're still there and we will do our best.
Good luck. Thank you.
Damage to that car. So, looks like the marshals are very good back into its low. Back on the pace.
Well, here's how they stand ahead of Q3. Solberg at the top, having won both the first qualifying session from Ekstrom, Backerud, Hansen, Haken and Kevin Hansen. Christopherson and Anton Markland are your top 8. Only the top 12 go through to the semi-finals. So at the minute, Loeb, Ken Block, Kevin Eriksson and Baumanis are in. And just outside, we've got Larsen, Wilkes, Faust and Gronholm with 2 qualifying sessions still to go. My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me in commentary this weekend is Tim Harvey. And reporting from the paddock is Neil Cole. Here are the early races from Q3. Baumanis and Timosyanov, both the World RX Team Austria drivers, having had problems yesterday, making up for it today. Timosyanov with the win. On board with Robin Larsen. So Larsen trying to go around the outside of Liam Doran here, but couldn't do it. The British bomb keeps coming off the car. Development, of course, with the 2-litre engine in, has been going pretty well. Looking hard to make the semi-finals now. Flames from the exhaust over the jump, but it was Gronholm who was left to take the flag for this one. Well, race 3 has pulled up to the line for Q3. We're missing one of the drivers. Here is the lineup. On the inside, we've got Guy Wilkes racing at home, then René Munich, David Genet and Anton Markland. But missing from the outside of the grid is Tanner Faust, twice a winner here in European Rallycross. So that is a great shame for Tanner Faust. Really disappointing, and I'm pretty sure that's going to see him out because he was sitting 15th overnight, Tim. So
yeah,
what
fan favourite, of course. We don't know what's gone wrong. The Volkswagen not appearing for this, but we have got British interest with Guy Wilkes. But we hear it's an engine problem for Tanner Faust. What a shame. But all British eyes on Guy Wilkes on the inside.
Indeed, Wilkes on the inside this year in an OMSC run Fiesta. Massive changes to the car overnight in an attempt to get it how he wants it, but Munich looks like he might have outdragged him on the line, but Wilkes gets it done. Wilkes is on the inside, Munich out to the loose gravel on the outside and into the joker lap. Genet followed by Anton Markland. So Markland's car here, no fouls. Really disappointed about that because we know he's quick, but Markland yesterday had quite a good day.
But Guy Wilkes getting his nose in front, sticking it down the inside into Chessons on that first lap. He had a change of differential last night. The differential he didn't think was tugging the front of the car around enough yesterday, and some fairly major alterations to that car.
This is the corner he was really struggling with at the bottom of the hill, so does look a bit better than yesterday. Still a bit of understeer as he comes past the commentary position. You're looking at Markland chasing Genet in the background. And Okay, in the distance we can see, there we are, Guy Wilkes has gone into the joke lap. So Wilkes decides to joke early. Tim, I think, has to cover off the pace of the guys behind, and I'm going to be very close indeed. Guy Wilkes going to try and come around the outside of Davy Genet, and Markham too. Oh, shuts the door on Markham, maybe a little bit of contact there, but Genet in front, he can follow Genet round. Genet's quick.
Well, that was a good call by Guy Wilkes' crew, because they thought he'd had a clear lap on the first lap. The other two might have held themselves up, but in fact, if he hadn't come off that jump on the exit of the Joker a little bit loose on the rough, he probably would have got that second place.
So Wilkes with Markham right behind him now, going a little bit defensive. Look at the line that Markham used. Markham using a lot more of the road. Yesterday we saw Wilkes doing that. We started when he had the understeer, but I don't know, has he tried to calm himself down a little bit, Wilkes?
Well, I think the car was burying itself in the road. He's trying to drive it neater and tidy and get more forward momentum going, but still doesn't look perfect for Guy. It looks like he's having to work very hard.
Well, at the bottom there you can see the joker lap time we think is around 4.4, and the gap isn't quite enough. So at the bottom you can see Genet we think should come out around 1 point, but Genet's slowing. No, sorry, Genet's not slowing. People pointing at the screen in here, not quite sure what's going on. Genet around the corner at the top of the hill, so we think Genet's going to get out 1.5 in front. A puncture is what I'm told. So we'll see which one of the cars that is on. Munich heading down to
yes, rear left on Markham.
Markham at the rear, there we are. That's what all the pointing was about up in the commentary box. So Markham dropping off the back of the group. Munich sideways in the joker lap and losing a bit of time there. Oh, Guy Wilkes wide as well on Chestnut, but Genet is on a flyer into Devil's Elbow at the bottom of the hill. He can be very, very quick indeed. He was top of the Peugeots in qualifying at Belgium, I think, which was nice. Kevin Hansen was doing well yesterday. Overnight too on his birthday, his 18th birthday. Down at the bottom right you can see the counter which takes you towards the end of the race. And Genet has around 5 seconds to get to the line. What do you reckon, Tim?
Well, it's going to be close. He comes across the chicane now. No.
There we are, 56.6. So looking at yesterday's time, a 2:54.5 was enough. So he's 1.9 slower, Genet. 2:54.5 was Petter's winning time from Q1, and a 2:53.6 in Q2, which was very, very fast indeed. Here is the result, 2:56.6, so a good couple of seconds off the pace from yesterday. And Timosyanov earlier on did a 2:54.6, so Timosyanov 2 seconds clear at the top, and that's a good effort from him. Off the line then, Wilkes and Munich heading down towards turn 1. Munich tried to shut the door there on Guy, but he didn't quite have enough space. In fact, there was contact, which I missed on the outside there, between Genet and Markland.
And I think that's what Guy Wilkes' spotter picked up, that would have slowed them down, given him the opportunity of perhaps at the end of his first lap. Here he comes on. See, he got a little bit wide there, just coming off the jump. Contact with Markland, closing the door. Good hard racing though.
Genet to the flag. Good effort by the Frenchman, but it's not that fast.
Good race win there for Davey, but do you think the time's good enough?
I don't know. The track seems to be quite different today to how it was yesterday, although it doesn't look it. It seems to be that the times are slightly different, so we'll just have to wait and see.
What do you think's changed?
It's rallycross track, you know, that changes without you seeing. It's a miracle sometimes, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. It was a good time, it was a good drive, so we'll see how it goes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Race 4 of Q3, Kristoffersen's coming up to the line. Let's see who he's up against. On the inside, Toppy Heikkinen, Kevin Hansen, 18 yesterday, Ken Block in the middle, Kevin Eriksson, and Johan Kristoffersen on the outside. So this is a very exciting lineup indeed. As I say, Kevin Hansen, 18 years old yesterday. Tim doesn't even hold a driver's license in Sweden yet, and here he is in a supercar in the World Rallycross Championship.
Yeah, you don't need one for Rallycross, and he certainly proves it, doesn't he?
He does indeed. Kristoffersen hoping, I'm sure, this weekend to change his run of luck so far this season. Heikkinen will be looking to make the most of that car. Is Kevin Hansen's Peugeot going to suffer from the same pace problems as Genet? They didn't get on too well last year when the track was wetted, but it's a good start by Hansen. Hansen and Heikkinen down towards turn 1. Kevin's had to slot in around the outside. Kevin Eriksson absolutely sideways, but he runs wide. Ken Block has to take avoiding action. Eriksson's lucky to hold on to third place there, but almost went round the outside. outside. He's now going to try and look up the inside of Kevin Hansen on the way to Devil's Elbow. Kevin Eriksson's on a mission. Hansen now's going to try and get the overlap, but Hansen does. So Hansen now is ahead of him on the way up Harry Hill towards North Bend. Hansen goes defensive. Eriksson round the outside, and Ken Block's looking to slot in behind those two. We know the focus is quicker, and Tim, this is more like it.
Yeah, and a master stroke by Kristoffersson. He went straight for the Joker. He's on 4 brand new tyres, and he's got clear track ahead of him. So while these guys have been fighting it out, Kristoffersson is absolutely charging on those new tyres.
He is indeed. Eriksson straight off to the Joker. So Eriksson obviously feels his pace is being compromised. At the back here, we can already see Kristoffersson's definitely got the job done on him. So those guys definitely, I mean, you know, the middle of the pack, apart from Heikkinen out front, everybody held each other up.
Yeah, Heikkinen will be the one. Has he got a big enough gap?
Heikkinen up the hill. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen there, if they've got a tick next to their name, it's been this. They've done the Joker. So Kristoffersson and Eriksson at the rear have done that one alternative lap that they have to do in every race in the World Rallycross Championship. Heikkinen on the brakes in the EKSRX machine. Look at that, Tim. A big handful of throttle, a footful of throttle on the way into the corner to get it to oversteer.
Well, we'll see the difference here. The battle here really is between Heikkinen and Kristoffersson. Once the others have taken their gap, and the gap then was 3.8 seconds. It's going to be very close on the last lap.
Ken Block goes into the Joker lap. He's going to come out now behind. So Ken Block's coming out behind Eriksson as well. I don't feel I dare to have a look on the way down into Devil's Elbow. I don't think he's quite near enough. He does have a little look up the inside. In the background we can't see Heikkinen locking up front right on the way up the hill. You can brake so late up there, Tim, because it is such a steep hill. Again, TV flattens it just like it does at Brands Hatch.
It does. It's great breaking up hill, not so good coming down the hill, but Heikkinen and Hansen have got to take the Joker this lap. Will Kristoffersson get the lead?
Heikkinen slots off to the left-hand side. Hansen's going with him, so watch then on the inside lap. You can see that Kristoffersson is desperate to get through Chessons and get the power down on the exit, and he's done it. So Kristoffersson comes out in front of Heikkinen quite comfortably, but Heikkinen and Hansen hanging on to the last lap, and they did at least get the job done on Eriksson and Block. So nice tactics, and these guys driving very quickly. There's only one race to go. As we come towards the end of a qualifying session, we know the drivers are happy to follow each other around.
Yeah, they don't want contact now, and a problem. Well, we say that they started off the race pretty hard, didn't they? But a great race by Kristoffersson. He did absolutely the right thing, taking the Joker on lap 1 and using his new tyres to have that road speed.
There's that fastest time. Bottom right-hand corner is Kristoffersson. Gonna get it. He does. So I didn't think he had. He's just done it by 0.137. So Kristoffersson goes top of Q3 so far. He's gone fastest. So great tactics by him taking that first lap Joker to get out of traffic. There it is, Johan Kristoffersson with a 2:54.4, which yesterday would have been good enough to win Q1, but not Q2. So it's a very fast time. Timmers Yarnov still looking impressive in second. Heikkinen and Hansen from that last race slotting into 3rd and 4th place. Off the line, this was Kristoffersson going straight to the Joker, and Tim, you called that great tactic, and he was in the ideal grid slot for it.
Yeah, but look at that Eriksson car that was facing back at the start line. He had it so sideways.
I appreciated that. I appreciate the effort, even if it didn't pay off. That's what we want to see. Ken Block having a little look up the inside, and probably compromising himself a bit on the exit there. And this was the merge. Heikkinen coming through, still to set a good time, but it is Kristoffersson who so far is fastest in Q3. It's the last race of Q3. These are the quick boys. Looking forward to this one. The reigning world champion on the inside, Petter Solberg. Last year's world championship runner-up, Timmy Hansen next to him. Matthias Ekström, the current championship leader. Bakkerud, who set the fastest lap around this circuit yesterday. And Sebastian Loeb, the number 9. You don't need me to tell you why.
No, this could be a final, couldn't it? So enjoy this quali.
This is going to be mega. Loeb on the outside with Hansen on the inside. I wouldn't mind betting they'll split the strategy. I think Loeb will go Joker on lap 1. I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't. But here we go. Anti-lag on, the revs are up. Ekström's car sits down at the rear. Does it find the grip of the line? Solberg looks to have got the best start. It's very, very even indeed. 3 cars to the Joker. Oh, Bakkerud's got squeezed. Ekström somehow manages to come through. Loeb's going to try and go around the outside. Bakkerud pushes Loeb out wide. Loeb's on the dirt. Loeb runs wide. We're on board with him now. So Loeb struggling for traction. Got to get back on track and try and get on the back of that group there. But he got mugged by the other 2.
Disaster. When 3 cars go for the Joker on the first lap, someone's always going to come out, in trouble, and that was Loeb. But a great start by Solberg. Solberg's on new tyres all round. Timmy Hansen's got left, and look at them go.
Talk to us about new tyres on the left, Tim. We've seen this in rallying, and obviously clockwise circuit, is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, clockwise circuit, more corners to the right, more asphalt to the right. You need the new tyres on the left-hand side. They're doing all the work.
So saving themselves a couple of boots maybe for Q4. They can stick those on the other side, and they'll know they'll then have only a half one set. Remember, they're only allowed 8 of their Cooper tyres per weekend, so they've got to manage them right, make sure they've got enough grip. And this track is very, very fast indeed, so your tyres, the only point of contact, of course, with the road are extremely important. Backrud on a flyer in that focus. It was so fast yesterday.
It really was. He's been very quick. He was quickest in practice. Look at Petter Solberg. He actually set the fastest lap we've ever seen just in the warm-up this morning. This morning, a 40.9.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Petter pops it up over the curbs. You have to miss the curb on the left. Solberg going into the Joker early again. Timmy Hansen goes with the other strategy. That's the fastest lap of the day. 40.8. Solberg's just done a 40.8, as Tim Harvey tells us from practice this morning. Ekstrom and Backer are desperately chasing Solberg down, but Solberg's got a decent margin here. He said he'd done some work on the car between rounds, Tim, and he says it at every event as a psychological thing, I'm sure, but I think I might believe him.
I tell you what, it's not his words that are frightening people, it's his lap times.
It is indeed. Solberg going for an early, a lap 3 Joker, earlier than Hansen. Hansen is holding on to the final lap. They'll be telling him to push like crazy because they want to see if he's got enough time to do it. Hansen's going to go to the Joker lap now. Solberg's going to cross the line. Hansen then around the outside in the 208. He's late on the brakes, turns it in, tight on the apron on the left, but Solberg's done it already. It's about whether Hansen can get out in front of Ekstrom. I think he can. Looks nice and clean on the jump exit, and Hansen with a tidy lap there manages to get back out where he was before the Jokers took place.
Yeah, and this is a shot across the bows for Ekstrom, isn't it? Pushed back to 3rd place.
It is indeed. Ekstrom has had it all his own way this season in qualifying. He's been overnight TQ and then overall TQ. We think Petter is going to be on here for the fastest time, so keep an eye on that clock on the bottom right corner. That is the fastest time of Johan Kristoffersen from the previous race in Q3. Is Solberg going to win the 3rd qualifying session of the weekend to go with Q1 and 2? Is he ever? He's absolutely smashed it. 2.175 seconds faster. You can see the grin on Panilla's face there. Very, very happy with that indeed. That's an absolute flyer. 2:52.2. That's what, it's about 1.4 seconds faster than yesterday's Q2 win. Solberg at the top, Timmy Hansen in 2nd place, Matthias Ekstrom 3rd, Backrud is 4th, and Sebastian Loeb with that mistake down in 5th. There it is, Solberg, top of the table. Great job. Off the line, this was Sebastian Loeb on board, Tim, and you'll see here, so he looks okay, but Ekstrom's up his inside, but it was Backrud who I was amazed. Backrud's like, no, it really kind of pushed him wide, but it was fair enough.
Yeah, it was fair enough. I mean, you know, it's like touring car racing. If you're on the outside, you're always going to come off the loser.
And it's side-by-side contact too, you know, it's not like he's running to the rear and fired him off. Solberg, though, what about this for pace?
The car looks absolutely fantastic. Solberg will be loving this.
Absolutely hooked up. Timmy Hansen going with him, so they're still pacing the Peugeots, even with a bit of dampness in the track, but can anyone get Solberg in Q4?
Pernilla, what an incredible drive, an incredible time. I can see from the smile on your face how important that is.
Yeah, of course. You know, we've been struggling. It's such fierce competition this year, and the cars are just so equal, so we just have to push that extra thing all the time, and the team has made a great effort compared from last race. Actually rebuilt the car quite a lot, so it's just really good fun when, you know, when everything is so close, and we've had such an amazing start to this event, so just fingers crossed we can keep running in the same good thing, you know, but yeah, great start.
Thanks, Prim.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic job by Petter Solberg. He has won all 3 qualifying sessions so far this weekend. Is it going to be a clean sweep? Here are the standings so far. Those qualifying points at the top, remember, will be scrapped after this. It's just for position, and Solberg's won all 3. Domination. Ekstrom 2nd, Hansen, Backer, Kristoffersen, Haken, and Kevin Hansen, Yannis Baumanis. Baumanis' teammate Timosyanov, Ericsson, Markham, Blocks just in. Loeb, look, he's just out. And Guy Wilkes as well, down in 16th. Can he scrape through to the semis? Well, we've got some lovely, lovely shots for you to look at from the course of the weekend. These are all from free practice sessions. And this, to me, Tim Harvey, looks like very, very early on because it's super smooth.
But look how straight all four of those wheels are pointing. A perfect drift from Petter Solberg. Topi Heikkinen there matching him in the Audi.
Lovely job. Super sideways, but super smooth and pointy with the steering. So just drifting the car on the exit. You see the exit of the Joker lap behind. And you can see as well where the track had been resurfaced before this event. Hansen over the jump. A little bit too much steering input, but you can see why he's close to the bank, and you just got to make sure you get it pointed in.
Very tricky corner that. A jump just as you're turning right, coming off the Joker.
Scrabbling for grip. Look at the front end of the car as well. You're just desperately trying to squash out those bumps. Here comes his brother, Kevin Hansen, 18 this weekend. And a better line, I think, from Kevin. Less lock on the exit.
Yeah, closer to the right is better there. Try and land with all four wheels pointing straight. Get all four wheels. It's four-wheel drive, remember, 600 horsepower. Get them driving you forward.
You can see the rear of the car squatting against us. Still bumpy on the outside of that line. And this is down at the bottom of the hill. So Paddock Bend, one of the fastest bends in the World Rallycross Championship. That's the exit. It's around 120 miles an hour on the way in. Hard on the brake and then sending the car in, and look at that. That is the style from Topi Heikkinen. Sideways on the way in, and again, Tim, straight wheels at the front.
Yeah, lots of different styles around here depending on how your car handles. Some cars understeer a bit too much. Some drivers like to get the car turned sideways to rotate it and then concentrate on those four-wheel drive to pull the car forward. But always staying on the tarmac the quickest way, so not trying to drift out wide too early.
Sebastian Loeb, look at that curb on the inside. You must not clip that. We've seen some huge accidents there. When you go and stand and look at it, it's about a foot high, but the one on the right, you can monster.
Yeah, absolutely. You can float over that. Try and straighten the steering as you get it, because you're still turning slightly left, so you'll see the driver just straighten the steering so he hits that curb square. Look, see the wheels turning right there just to straighten it up?
Fantastic stuff. Just lifting the inside wheels up as the car pops up over the curb and then settles down. The EKS RX Audi is looking absolutely stunning. Bit of dust, that's why they wet the track. Coming through it though, Timmy Hansen in the 208 with a final cut, a big cut over those curbs.
Something must have happened to Lydden, and I do remember.
Final qualifying session is coming up. Here is how they stand. Petter Solberg has won all three qualifying sessions so far, so dominance from him ahead of Ekstrom, who have been the dominant force in qualifying so far this year. Timmy Hansen in third, so Bakker at fourth. Kristoffersen's up there in fifth as well. The only championship protagonist who at the minute isn't right up there is Sebastian Loeb. Done a great job so far, and at the minute he's not going to make the semi-finals. Neither is Guy Wilkes. Sebastian Loeb got Q4 underway with a great run out front on a recently watered track. He's put in the kind of performance you would expect from a 9-time World Rally champion. Inch perfect despite the conditions. Would it be enough to see him make the semi-finals? Q4, race 2. Robin Larson on the inside, Ken Block and Rennie Munich. Ken Block currently sitting in 12th place in the standings, so top 12, remember, go through to the semi-finals. Block needs to do a good job here, bearing in mind the track will dry out, and some of those drivers, in fact, most of the drivers still to come. Loeb is the man that he's really got to watch out for. Loeb was right behind him. It'll all pan out as Q4 finishes and we get those all-important race times in to put them in order and see who makes it through to the semis. That was an onboard you saw with Robin Larson preparing for the start. There's that unique noise from the Ken Block Ford Focus RS. He'll be hoping for a great start. Oh, the bonnet dipped a bit, but still, look at the power of that car. Him and Larson are going into the standard lap. Block's trying to shut the door on Larson. Larson's not having it. He's going to push Block wide. Block out in the dirt, almost in the barrier. Munich's gone down to the outside lap. And I mean, you have to try it, Tim. But I don't know that there was a point there where I might have gone, do you know what, I'm going to back off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he really had to try, didn't he? But they were he got a better reaction in block off the light, but there wasn't much difference between power between the Larson Audi and the Ken Block M Sport effectively built engine.
Once it got going, certainly. We have seen this car yesterday. We were watching Baccarat in the sister car to Block, chasing Christopherson up the hill, and my goodness me, it looks fast. And the car does suit this circuit.
Yeah, slightly bigger car, good on the fast circuit. But, you know, Larson's quick as well. You know, he hasn't had the best of qualifying, but he's quick.
I saw Larson last night said he hates Saturdays. He said, I never, ever have a good Saturday. He was all smart playing football at the bottom of the hill on Paddock Hill Bend at the very bottom of Hairy Hill, in good spirits with the rest of his team. He'd been got up early last, in fact got up twice the night before. The hotel he was staying at in Folkestone, the fire alarm went off at midnight and then at 4 o'clock in the morning. So 2 of his guys said, that's it, we're staying in the truck now.
Yes, they're more comfortable there.
So Larson holding off the attention of Block. Both those guys to Joker. Munich coming down the hill now past us at the commentary position. Block there checking a slide up in the car. That chicane exiting the gravel section back onto the tarmac is very tricky, and Block then has decided to go for the Joker. So Block wants to release himself from Larson, see if he can get the power down, get out in front of Munich. I think he will. He's sideways, but nicely done. All-wheel drive of a Rallycross Supercar, dealing with the wet gravel very nicely. And now he's got to push and try and overlap Larson. I think Larson will be quick enough, personally.
Well, it's going to be good. He needs a mistake-free last lap, doesn't he, Larson, to do it? The gap is going to be very close.
And Larson, of course, still to Joker. The Joker lap here, Tim, quite hard. You know, the track dives off, doesn't it? It dips, and like a roller coaster back up. We'll hopefully get to see Larson go through it. So watch Larson here as he comes. This is steep downhill.
I think it's a great Joker because it's easy to carry too much speed in then you've got to get the car stopped, rotated into that chicane, and then you get all excited putting the power down, and you can run wide here. It's neck and neck as they come on. He's got the outside. Will he make a lunge for Devil's Elbow? No, he's too far behind Block. But a great Joker setup here at Lydden.
Yeah, brilliant. And Block obviously doing a fantastic Joker lap as well, because we saw yesterday Block made a mistake on his Joker, which we think actually cost him a really, really good time. So Block doing well. Larson, thou's got the line here. Larson on the inside. He's in the door of Block. Larson's done. Block up at the hairpin. Great move. Bit of contact between them. But Larson down the hill. Block, very, very wide track limits for Block there, but he's just been taken by Larson either way. Oh, contact between them up towards the finish line. Larson takes it though with Block right behind, so drama for the last 2-3 corners. Great move by Larson to get him back up at the hairpin. Ken went defensive, didn't he?
Yeah, Ken went defensive. Larson got up the inside, pushed him wide. There was a bit of niggle between the two of them, and it looked dodgy approaching the chicane and the finish line.
I wonder if there'll be words said. We'll have a look at the replays in a minute and find out. Larson taking the win with a 2:58.3. And it's Ken Block and Rennie Munich. So Loeb's time of a 2:57.3, still looking good. Off the start, this was Robin Larson. So Larson and Block. Block is on the left-hand side here. Then you can see Block gets the better start, but Larson is basically just leans on him all the way down onto the inside.
He was steering left, wasn't he? Because they were turning in. He wasn't going to have it.
Well, he couldn't hit that barrier on the inside either, could he? Because he's coming up to the tyres. You see them stacked up on the inside, and as the track drops away there, Larson just about gets online.
You know, and that fighting on the first corner and on the last lap is probably what cost them the quickest time.
This was Block in the Joker. It was a tidy one from him because he managed to get out in front of Larson, but we want to see that all-important pass from Larson on Block if we can. Larson from the Joker. So we'll have a look at this sideways. He tries, doesn't he? But there's not enough here. I did think, as you thought, maybe Devil's Elbow, but this was the pass.
This was pass. Block defensive on the inside, just the tiniest hint of a gap, and straight away Larson was in there. He set himself up nicely for him with the outside entry to the corner.
I think it's clean. Let's hope the stewards agree. Q4 race 3, all on the line and ready to go. On the inside, Niklas Gronholm, then it's Rainis Nittish. Nittish pushed him round yesterday. Kevin Eriksson, Liam Doran and Guy Wilkes, so 2 Brits on the outside line. This will be interesting to see if Wilkes and Doran go together, because Doran is effectively in the car that Wilkes was in last year. We've got both the OMSE cars and Rainis Nittish too. It's a decent start. Nittish looks to have got the jump, and Gronholm on the inside. Gronholm's got the inside sideline. Nittish has to drop back into third. You got Wilkes and Doran have both gone into the Joker lap together.
But it was Ericsson off third on the grid that got across the front of both of them with the best start.
On board with Liam, and we can see here the traction. Have a listen. We're away from it, but very, very slippery there on the outside. And Doran up the inside of Wilkes into Devil's Elbow from where we're looking. Look in the background, you'll see if the move got done or not. And it did, so Doran and Wilkes is going, maybe going slowly. Not sure if he missed a gear, but...
They're both going slowly. They're both crawling up the hill.
Well, it's a slow race then, a slow race between the two Brits.
It is for fourth place.
Doran's pulled up. Well, that's a disaster for the British fans, but there's a race going on out front, so no worries, we'll get back to that. It's Ericsson from Gronholm. Gronholm goes to the Joker lap, and that releases Nittish now to try and chase down Ericsson in front. The two Brits haven't come past the commentary box, so I suspect they've both pulled off. They have Wilkes, we can see from here, has pulled off the track into the paddock. Out front, there's Doran, he's offline, so that won't be a problem for these guys other than trying to stick it up the inside. That's obviously as far off the track as he can get it.
That could be a Robin Larson line, you never know.
Yeah, it could. And there is Liam in the car now, having a quick check. Liam very sensibly now trying to roll the car back down the hill and get it off the racing line. He's a gent like that. His home track. Kevin Eriksson still leading from Branish Nittish. Eriksson and Nittish yet to Joker. Nittish, as I say that, goes into the Joker lap. So Nittish going now to try and defend from Gronholm behind him. Watch for Gronholm behind. Nittish is a bit wide. I think that's maybe not enough, Tim.
No, I think Gronholm's going to get this second place. Yeah, comfortably back in front and rejoining the Joker for Nittish in third place.
Nittish having a little showing himself in the mirrors on the inside, but I don't think that's a serious attempt at a move. How quick these guys are going to go. It might give us an indication of if track conditions are changing. I wonder if it might be wet enough that the conditions aren't going to change that much. We've got a few puffs of dust here and there, but...
Well, that's what Sebastian Loeb will be thinking. He'll be watching this from the sidelines and watching the timing monitors very carefully, won't he?
Shame we're not going to see Doran then through to the semi-finals, or Wilkes. Those guys were sitting in 16th and 18th. Wilkes 16th, Doran 18th. We're watching now. Eriksson's gone into the Joker. Hoping to come out in front of Gronholm. Gronholm's run wide in the background. Nittish might have got the jump on him. So keep your eyes peeled for Nittish and Gronholm. Nittish has. Nittish manages to get past Gronholm. So Gronholm just got the entry wrong there and a little bit too sideways.
Yeah, that was a shame. He blew that. Of course, offline it's even wetter. Got to hold it nice and tight round Cheshens. But Eriksson's been in the lead the whole way round, so his race lap time will be very interesting.
It will indeed. At the bottom there, 2:57.3 is the current time of Sebastian Loeb, already in race 1 of Q4. I said the track was too wet. Is it getting faster? I'd suggest, well, maybe it's still pretty even. So 2:57.9. He's slower than Loeb. Here's the results then. Kevin Eriksson with a 2:57.9 from Nittish and Gronholm. Disappointment for the Brits at home. 2 DNFs means we won't see Doran or Wilkes through to the semi-finals. And Sebastian Loeb's time is still looking pretty good. So is the track getting any quicker or not? Got a couple of races still to come. Off the line, this was Doran, and you said about Eriksson on the right-hand side, great start.
Terrific start, got all the way across to the front. This were the two Brits who jokered on the first lap, coming round the chicane onto the loose stuff of Cheshens as they come off. A good drive off the corner, but sadly they were to retire.
Gronholm defending from Nittish. Nittish going well in the Seat Ibiza. These three cars in a train, and this was the disappointment for the Brits. So, first of all, Doran had passed Wilkes down into Devil's Elbow, and then not 200 metres later, it was game over for both of them. So, a real shame. Not going to be seeing a great result at home at Lydden Hill. Eriksson, and this was Gronholm. Gronholm was sideways on the way in. Look, that's where the mistake was.
Carried too much speed in and just could never get the front end into the apex.
So, shame for him. He dropped behind Nittish, but it was Eriksson who took the flag.
Kevin, it looks like you've done enough to get through to the semi-finals. How was that for you?
I need to find a little bit more. I was a little bit, you know, we made some changes and it felt better in the end, but in the beginning I was a little bit cautious, but lap by lap I felt I could push more, and I think it's enough for the semi-final, but now I just need to find a little bit more pace to match the top guys.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thank you.
Getting towards the fast end of Q4, here's the lineup for race 4. Andreas Backerud on the inside, next to him Topi Heikkinen, Kevin Hansen in the middle, Davi Genet just outside him, his teammate, and Yannis Baumanis right on the outside in P5 on the grid. And Kevin and Genet, the teammates at Peugeot Hansen Academy, will be keen not to run into each other. You'd like to think they might try and split the strategy, but of course it is going to depend who gets a good start and goes in what direction. Backerud and Heikkinen on the inside. Heikkinen's car sits down as we see the EKS do. Baumanis creeping on the outside, but manages to hold on. Great start by Backerud and Heikkinen. They're going to race down into the standard lap. Backerud's got it. Heikkinen and Kevin Hansen's gone with them, and just as we suspected, Genet goes the other way.
Yeah, so the Peugeot Academy team have split their strategy. We'll have to see how that works out.
Baumanis chasing Genet down. Genet, of course, we saw that incredible round the outside manoeuvre last year, I think it was, on Pusher. Kept it lit right the way around the outside. Bit of resurfacing at the track this year means the grip levels are slightly different online and offline. You're looking at Backerud, who's got a clear track. Backerud there looked like he might have been in the missed gear on the exit.
Looks like he missed a gear, struggled to get it going, but he's been very fast so far this weekend, and this will, if he gets a clean run, it'll be a good challenge for that low quickest time.
It will indeed. This might be a bit more of an indicator as to the pace on the track. We're starting to see dust on the inside, so we have to assume that it is drying out just a little bit. Heikkinen comes from the Joker lap and slots out in front of Genet and Baumanis, so much faster first lap from the looks of things. Heikkinen on form. He's really getting on top of the EKS RX car now. Of course, been so successful in the hands of Matthias Ekstrom, and out front, Backerud hoping to get those same lap times as yesterday in the Focus. Watch this at the bottom of the hill. It's a big car, but they're making it work.
Yeah, well, it's a good circuit for it, as we said, and all of that development on that Ford being done in-house. Engineers here from Ford, both the chassis and the engine, and it's really going places. They know it's a bigger car, but they knew it would suit this circuit.
Really, really serious about this approach to the World Rallycross Championship. Kevin Hansen, also not jokered in one of last year's Peugeot 208s. The Peugeots last year were flying here until they watered the track, and then they weren't quite so quick. But that's from first to third, so that's Backerud down to Heikkinen, so at the minute, not quite enough. Backerud continuing to push. He's managed to gap Hansen here nicely. This is a good drive from Backerud.
Yeah, it is. He's keeping it nice and tidy. Obviously, he'll go for the Joker now.
In he goes, and Kevin Hansen's going to go with him in the background. So watch for Heikkinen in the background. This is between Heikkinen and Backerud. Backerud clearly out in front. So Heikkinen didn't have enough, but he did have enough to get himself past Kevin Hansen. So this is still a good drive. Genet and Baumanis as well have kept this clean. Remember, it's all about race time in qualifying. On the final lap, Backerud drifts the Focus through. There's the all-important clock at the bottom of your screen. So Backerud chasing that time, and this is going to give us an idea of whether it's getting quicker. Tim, what do you reckon?
Well, we've seen more dust come up. That was a good drive by Loeb in the conditions, but I fancy this could be quicker.
I think so. It's going to be a lot quicker. There we go, over the line. It is indeed. Backerud absolutely smashes it. That's 4.3 seconds faster. So Backerud on a flyer. Where was Heikkinen? 2:55.2, so he was 2.2 behind, so he was quicker too. Anyway, let's have a look at the results and we'll be able to see for sure. So Backerud taking it from Topi Heikkinen and Kevin Hansen, Davi Genet and Yannis Baumanis. All of those guys doing a good job. And there's where they slot in. So the top three go faster than Loeb. But Loeb at the minute is still doing okay. Is he going to scrape the semis? Off the line. Into the Joker. Everyone was sensible there, Tim. You do get this, you know, later.
There was no
qualifying.
time lost.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can lose time on that first corner, either going through the standard lap or the Joker. And this is all about time. It's not about position.
It is indeed. It gets down to position. Look at that.
Beautiful slide in there. Yeah. Beautiful on the brakes.
So nicely balanced, wasn't it? Front to rear. And
a bit messy on the exit. Lowe wouldn't have done that, in fairness. He was inch perfect on his run.
He was indeed, despite the slightly wetter conditions. Baumanis bringing up the rear, but still going okay in the World RX Team Austria Fiesta, but Backerud with the flag.
Andreas, that was a great race win. Is it the track that's getting quicker or just you?
Just me. No, I mean, it's great. Like, I'm so happy being in this team and with all the sponsors we're having. It's I'm living the dream, and I'm so happy being up there fighting with the big boys, and hopefully we're going to get all the way to the final, and you never know, podium, it smells like that.
Time for the final race of Q4. On the inside, Petter Solberg, he's won all 3 qualifying sessions so far. Can he make it a clean sweep? Timmy Hansen, then Matthias Ekström, Johan Kristoffersson and Timur Timosjanov. That is quite the lineup. Okay, anti-lag on. Is Petter going to get another barnstormer of a start or not? He's got some fantastic competition on the line with him. It's a brilliant start. Kristoffersson goes backwards, but Solberg's got a decent start on the inside, and he's done it again. So Solberg goes into the lead on lap 1. Hansen slots in behind him. Kristoffersson, I think he's Kristoffersson in the Joker lap.
Yes, with Ekström.
Oh, it's Timosjanov, sorry, Timosjanov with Ekström. So Kristoffersson, when he booked, then chose to go to the standard lap on the inside, but all 5 cars getting a half-decent start. But Solberg, what about that, Tim? If he gets a clean sweep of all 4 qualifying sessions, Tim, we don't think that's ever been done before in World RX.
Well, according to your statistics, it's never been done before, so we'll see. But he has been absolutely flying. Some suggestions in the paddock that he might tone the engine down a little bit just to make sure he gets through and save it for the final. Doesn't show any signs of that to me. He is flat.
He's absolutely flat, isn't he? He said he'd made some changes to the car in between events. They really do seem to have helped. Ekström definitely had a little car advantage at the first 3 events. I managed to make that counter course at Hockenheim in Belgium, got fired off in Portugal. But Petter, oh my goodness me, they're on form here, backs it in. Well, he won it last year, and he's looking
as a World Rally driver, he pioneered the expression, I drive flat out, and he only knows one way.
110%.
Exactly.
Solberg giving a masterclass here in how to qualify for a World Championship. And Ekström is having Ekström with a locked wheel. Ekström's got one left front shut. Yeah, well spotted. Tim Harvey and myself both out the window at the same time. So Ekström's come past us in the commentary position. And Ekström then is going to get dropped down the order. Currently he's sitting in 2nd place, but Hansen could overtake him in the qualifying standings here if Hansen does a good time. There's Timmy now. So Timmy's on a flyer in the 208. Matthias Ekström is having to crawl around the circuit because it's a front tyre, way worse than the rear. We saw Kristoffersson hold on for a long time in that epic semi-final Hockenheim, but Ekström with a front puncture, Tim, is the worst.
Yeah, it's the left front. It's the worst corner to have a puncture on. He'll have to turn the car into the right-handers using the handbrake, but it's going to really affect his lap time with another lap to go.
Okay, into the last lap, and the Joker Hansen has gone in. Solberg's coming round now on chest, and Solberg's going to come out clearly in front. He's on a mission. Timosjanov alongside Hansen, old teammates, but Hansen's managed to shut the door. Nobody, though, anywhere near Petter Solberg. Is he going to go super quickly again? Timosjanov, this is a great run from him. He's right with Hansen and Kristoffersson behind him.
Yeah, Hansen actually defending into Devil's Elbow and into the hairpin, which is costing them both time. Timosjanov clearly actually quicker.
Timosjanov knocking on the door there, just reminding him that he is there, but Solberg out front isn't going to be challenged on his way into the last corner. Here he comes, Petter Solberg's going to take the flag. Is he going to take the qualifying session as well? He doesn't, so Solberg isn't going to take it. Solberg 0.9 down. He doesn't get a clean sweep, but he didn't need it. He's still going to be TQ. I'm certain of that. Here's Ekström with that front left puncture and the tyre rolling off the rim, trying as hard as he can to limit the damage. We can smell that tyre up here in the commentary box where it's been smoking and rubbing off the side of the car. Not ideal for him. So it's a race win for Petter Solberg, but it's not really enough to win Q4. Probably still enough for TQ. Timmy Hansen, Timosjanov, Kristoffersson and Ekström. Ekström's off the front page. Solberg is 2nd to Bakkerud. Off the start, Kristoffersson then definitely had a problem, and as a result of that, he moved across to go in 3rd place into the standard lap. Timosjanov went with Ekström. I wonder where Ekström picked up that puncture. We didn't see any contact.
No, we didn't. There've been a few this weekend, but that's just the way it goes in rallycross, really. But it was a perfect drive by Solberg. I think he was probably just erring on the side of caution, but didn't take that fastest time.
Hansen coming back to form with the Peugeot. Good to see last year chase Solberg hard for the title, but we thought they'd lost some pace at the start of this season. But it looks like the Peugeot's back, as is Timazionov. I'd love to see the Russian get a good result. He hasn't had one for a while. Solberg, though, takes the win, and with it, I think TQ.
So, Petter, Matthias Ekstrom had a puncture. You have saved some tyres and you've saved some energy power. You still managed to win by a long way.
Yeah, it was actually a very good time. I was tried to take control and I drove very, very calm. The 2 last laps was very calm, slow down. So just to be very careful, take care of the tyres. And it worked very well. So it's fantastic. The thing we've done since Belgium, the whole team, it's been working so fantastic. It's great.
It's also nice, if you look over your shoulder there, there's Phil Mills. You don't need him to co-drive for you anymore.
No. I said I don't think I have a space for him in the car either, because this car is very small.
Good luck in the semi-finals.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, here are the final qualifying standings. Petter Solberg with 3 Q wins, but it was Baccarat who pipped him in Q4. Then it's Hansen, Ekstrom, Heikkinen, Kristoffersen, Kevin Hansen and Timazionov, the top 8. Also going through, Kevin Eriksson, Sebastian Loeb, Anton Markland and Janis Baumanis. Missing the cut, Genet, Block, Larsen and Niklas Gronholm. They are not going to go any further this weekend.
So that is the very beaten up door of Ken Block, the number 43 car, the Focus RS RX, which will not make it through to the semi-finals. We were hoping to get a word with Ken, but he's up in the trailer in a debrief. But Andreas, you are through to the semi-finals. Before we talk about you, how disappointed is Ken?
Well, I think, we have been struggling this weekend a little bit with starts. Luckily for me, I've been in the last group in the qualifying, and that's all the time quick drivers. And when he had been struggling being in the fights, that's that guy will be back in Norway pushing for podiums, just like he did in Hockenheim. So, yeah, obviously we are developing all the time. So he feels disappointed today, but we're happy that one car is in the semi.
Well, now let's go and have a look at your car. Your car looks very different because it hasn't been in quite the same amount of fights.
You can see they just put the hood on so we can keep the secret where we want it,
Just for the viewers at home, we are never allowed to look in the engine bay of any of the cars here, but that has gone on there very quickly as soon as the camera was switched on. What are you hiding under there?
It's all the horses. They're wild and brutal,
So talk us through. This car is new. It's a development car. Let's walk down it and have a look at it and tell us what's so special about it and what it's like to drive.
So what we have like double A arms, big hubs for the fights with the other cars. You can see here I've been hitting Matthias a little bit, giving him a little kiss, and it didn't break any of the angles of the wheels. It have massive like aerodynamic, big wind tunnels to the radiator. We can see the damper travel is very long. Here we have regular suspension, Brembo brakes. The aero continues and ends up with a big rear wing.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Here is the radiator where the tunnel and the water, the cooling system gets out. Here we can see legs, and here we can see exhaust,
So, Andreas, obviously you've got loads of fans here, very, very popular team. What do you want to happen this afternoon in the semi and then in the final?
Well, I mean, we didn't have, last race wasn't our best, obviously. We didn't get to the semi. Like already now, we have put the smile back on the mechanics. They have worked so hard since Belgium. To be able to get to semi is a victory for us. I will try to keep it clean in the semi. Hopefully, be fighting with Petter in the final. I want that win. It's been last year in Italy was my last victory, so should be pretty good.
Good luck. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Well, hello from a sunny and, dare I say, hot Lydden Hill in the southeast of England. Very un-Lydden Hill-like weather, but we've seen some absolutely brilliant action so far this weekend, and we've got some cracking stuff still to come. Qualifying is over. It was done in front of a packed house, as you can see, and this is where they stood after the 4 qualifying runs. Top of the table then was Petter Solberg, ending Matthias Ekström's run of TQs. Ekström had a puncture in Q4. That dropped him down to P4, as you can see. Bakkerud, a Norwegian 1-2. Hansen makes it a Swedish 3-4. Heikkinen, Kristoffersen, Hansen, Timosjanov, Eriksson, Loeb, Markland, Dambau, Manis are in. You can see the top 16 get championship points, but only these top 12 go through to the semi-finals. The odd numbers go through to semi-1 and the evens to semi-2. So those Norwegians and Swedes are split up on the front row. What's going to happen in the semi-finals? Cannot wait. Now, Petter Solberg is in semi-final number 1. It's a brilliant return to form for him this weekend, and earlier on he caught up with Neil Cole.
Petter, you're the pole position for semi-final 1. You've done everything you need to do to give yourself a chance in this semi-final. What do you have to do for the next 6 laps?
Well, it's been quite tough, and Ekström had a puncture early, and that's what I was scared of also in the last heat. So I was trying to be a little bit calm on the last heat, not to push too much, because they have to use the tires in the semi-final and the final. So I just have to stay calm, focus, and I'm looking forward to this. You know, it will be very, very interesting.
You're surrounded by Hansens and a Heikkinen. Do you just hope to get a real clear, good start out into turn 1?
Yeah, that's the plan. You know, I hope it will be a clean run and no big impacts on anyone. You know, so the main thing is to come to the final and really want to win the semi. And I'm pumped up. I'm really hungry, and the job the guys have done also between the races from Belgium to now have seen or shown that it's actually working very well.
Go and get ready. We'll see you in the semi.
Thanks.
Working very well indeed. He won 3 out of the 4 qualifying heats. That's been done 7 times before. He didn't quite win the 4 out of 4 that we thought he might get done. Here's what we got coming up for you then. Of course, first of all, we have the World RX Supercar semi-finals live. Top 3 go through, bottom 3 go out. The RX Lights final live. The young guns of the sport fighting for their position to go up maybe to the World Championship. And then finally, who is going to win round 4 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship? Lydden Hill in the UK. Look at that, fantastic view over the track. My name's Andrew Coley, alongside me is Tim Harvey, and of course reporting from the paddock as always we've got Neil Cole. Very much looking forward to this. Here is the lineup for semi-final number 1. On pole, Petter Solberg, the winner here last year. Next to him, the only man who could challenge him for the world title last year. Returned to form for Timmy Hansen. Row 2, Toppy Heikkinen and Kevin Hansen. And on row 3, we've got Kevin Eriksson and Anton Markland. That is a tight old grid. Flag up, we're good to go already. What's going to happen? First corner joke, remember, some people are sure to split off to the left. Even start from Solberg and Hansen. Hansen tries to move across and shut the door on Solberg, but immediately decides he can't go straight to the joker. His brother goes with him, Toppy Heikkinen too, but it's Solberg leading on the standard lap. Tim, that was pretty much textbook stuff there.
It was a great start by Solberg, but Hansen decided immediately to go to the joker and get some clear track.
He got alongside him, didn't he? I think we've seen all weekend, no one's managed to do the round the outside thing here. It's just too loose when you're offline, and so if you can't get, if you can't shut the door, you've got to go joker.
Unless you're in front, you're turning in on the loose stuff, and you'll just never get in there, and you could get boxed out. So, having made a good start, it made sense to take that joker on lap 1.
So Solberg sweeps through paddock bend for the first time. Joker laps you can see on the left-hand side. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen, Toppy Heikkinen have all taken them. So we've got a real split strategy here. And those rear 3 are going to chase as hard as they can. Oh, very, very sideways there for Eriksson. Eriksson's lost time. I think Markland might get the drag on him down towards Devil's Elbow. Markland's chasing him hard, but he looks to have found enough traction. And the visibility here, Tim, my only concern for the 3 guys that have jokered is possibly they're going to struggle a little bit and might not be able to push to their full potential.
Yeah, it has dried out quite a bit. We're now facing dust as a visibility problem, and that could be an issue going forward. But Markland pushing very hard there up at the hairpin.
Markland is indeed. Meanwhile, Solberg comes past us absolutely sideways in the lead. He just wants to check out and hope that no one can catch him. Kevin Hansen, 18 yesterday, sitting currently in P5 behind his brother Timmy. I don't think he'll do anything silly there. I wonder if Markland and Ericsson are holding each other up here, and really, you know, Timmy will be hoping they might get out of the way if he can get onto the back of them. He's still a fair way back from them at the minute.
Yeah, that's right, but of course Solberg still has to take that joker, so at the moment he'll be going flat out, because although his spotter will be giving him the gaps, he won't want to ease up until he knows he's clear.
He won't indeed. Markland having another look at Ericsson. This is a really good run from Markland. He went well in Belgium. He's going well again here. He's still got a joker. I'm starting to wonder, Tim, you know, when you chase someone for a lap, you can't find a way through. Do you want to release yourself? I mean, the guys behind, look, that's now starting to catch up. If he doesn't go, he's going to get dumped behind P3 and then he's out.
Yeah, the joker time is about 4 seconds, depending on how they do it, and they're not going to do it.
He still hasn't gone. He still hasn't gone. So he's sitting in the dust, Markland. Timmy Hansen is coming up behind him, and those two guys go. This is great news for Timmy and possibly for Kevin behind him.
Yeah, only about a second behind Timmy is, so and he's actually catching them.
He is indeed, so Timmy would like to get nearer. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near Solberg. It looks like Solberg's going to fly. Solberg's smoking his tyres up in the distance from where we are. There's that battle, and Timmy on the back of them now. We don't even need our predictor graphic to know whether or not he's going to get out in front when they go to the joker lap.
It's going to be about where Solberg is in relation to Hansen after Solberg does, and he's going to do it on his last lap, look, because he's still going round 6 laps, remember, in this semi-final.
Solberg absolutely flying. He's equalled Hansen here this weekend in terms of overall TQs in the history of World RX. Hansen had the most on 7, and Petter has equalled that now. And he's so far ahead that you're just not seeing him. There he is in the background. Look for the train of 3 cars. Ericsson, Markland and Timmy Hansen. Kevin Hansen with Toppy Hakkinen behind. Toppy doesn't seem to be able to make any inroads into Kevin. And Timmy now on lap 5 out of 6. I mean, he's going to inherit this place, but these two guys are definitely going to drop back. It's going to be about where they drop back to. Are they going to drop back behind Kevin as well? I think they are, Tim. I think they're going to drop back the top 3.
There goes Solberg on that joker, so this will be about where he rejoins.
Solberg with a little bit of handbrake on the way into the right and then the left. He's going to come out nicely in front. Hansen was nearer than I thought he would be. Markland with a spin in the background. Markland spun in the joker lap, but it won't make any difference. We can't see the merge. Kevin Ericsson comes around the outside. I think Ericsson has actually managed to get the better of Hakkinen. He has in the background. There you can see Hakkinen through the dust down towards Devil's Elbow. It's Solberg from Hansen, and in 3rd place is Timmy Hansen as well. So this is a fantastic result for the Hansen brothers.
Yep, they're going to make it through, assuming they get through this last half a lap. They'll get through to the final. They'll be delighted. But this man, perfection. No more than a 10th of a second between his lap times.
Number 1 on the car, and this is why it's a big return to form for Petter Solberg. He wins semi-final number 1 at Lydden Hill. 2nd place to Timmy Hansen and 3rd to Kevin. Both the Hansen brothers go through. That's a hell of a birthday present for your 18th birthday yesterday. Well done, Kevin. I don't think I was doing that when I was 18, sadly. Nothing like as cool. Maybe a beer. Wonderful, wonderful stuff from Petter Solberg, taking the win in semi-final number 1. Timmy 2nd and Kevin 3rd. Kevin Ericsson and Toppy Hakkinen, Anton Markland all going no further this weekend. Off the line, Tim, this is looking back from Petter, and we know, obviously, that Timmy was alongside him here, and he just decided no contact, no contest, out down the joker lap.
Yeah, and it was the right thing to do, wasn't it? I mean, he pretty much made that decision before they lined up on the start line, as they have to do, and this was a battle. Markland pushing really hard, trying to make through. They held each other up at the end.
I can't help thinking that Markland maybe should have just gone on lap 2 when he felt he had the pace room. You might as well just get out of there and see if you can go with the others, because by the time, you know, the others, it was a mess. So, well, Solberg did a great job in this one. This was him coming out of the joker and taking the lead. Can his fellow countryman Andreas Backrud do the same in the next semi?
Andreas, Petter's just won semi-1 from pole. You've got to do exactly the same.
Yeah, that sounds like an easy plan. You know, it's always tough here. You don't want to end up in the dust. But hey, we're in the semi-final. I'm going to do my best to get up there in the final.
Ken Block just leaned in and had a word with you. What did he say?
Good luck, buddy. He's a good boss. You know, unfortunately, he wasn't in the semi today, but he'll be there on the radio screaming.
Go for it. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Backrud will be keen to do the same as Solberg. So, of course, Backrud was the winner here back in 2014 and Solberg the winner in 2015. So, be a fascinating fight between the last 2 winners if Backrud can go through, winning semi-final number 2 coming up shortly. Crowd looking forward to that. Semi-final one, not too carnage, Tim Harvey. It was all fairly sensible stuff. Long shot there of the Joker lap, the very tricky Joker lap here at Lydden Hill. Absolutely packed house as well. Been brilliant stuff, Tim.
Never seen so many cars here, and the crowd are fantastic. Sadly, no Brit in this in semi-finals, with Guy Wilkes and Liam Duran not making it through. Great shame for them, but we've got a quality lineup.
Here's a quality lineup for you as well. Petter Solberg on board from the start, so looking back, and watch as he hits the gravel, Tim. This is where you start to see the difference in visibility.
Yeah, big. And you can imagine if you're the third car in that group, you're going to see virtually nothing. It was watered earlier in the day before Q4, but that water's all gone now.
It's nice and warm, very bright sunshine, drying the track out. Conditions will be the same for semi-final 2. And we're going to see Sebastian Loeb in that one. Neil Cole's with him now.
Sebastian, you've made it into the semi-final. Can you make it onto the podium again like you did in Belgium?
It's a difficult challenge now. I start from the last row in semi, so it will be difficult to enter in the first, but we have to push. I will try. I will do my best, and I will see where I am at the end, but it will not be easy.
Good luck. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not he can do that. He's actually going to have to overtake him if he wants to get the job done. This is his worst qualifying performance, thanks to, of course, a couple of problems for him during the course of the weekend. You know, we know he can overtake from World Touring cars, but this is a shorter race. No time for tactics.
And having been on the podium last time out in the final at Belgium, I think he came here with some high hopes. But he can still do it. He can still do it. We've got 2 handsome cars through already, you know.
Could be a Peugeot lockout. Exactly. You never know. You never know. They had a disaster last year when they were going well in quali, and then the track got watered and the settings that were on the car just didn't work. Andrew Jordan, of course, was with them last year, having won one of the quali sessions, and just couldn't do it when it came through to semi-final time, as we see Baccarat head down towards the line. Monster Energy girls are on the grid, and the cars will be shortly. Focus, good result. In fact, it's their best qualification of 2016 for both Baccarat and the Focus.
Yeah, Baccarat going really well in the Hoonigan Ford team, and looks to be a very good fit, that partnership, doesn't it? The car's working well here. It's a slightly bigger car than the Fiesta, but he's loving that.
And he's a good fit for the team, Tim. That's the thing. Hoonigan, you know, it's all about fun and marketing and having a good image around the team. I think Baccarat slots in with Ken Block brilliantly.
Yeah, young, dynamic people, a bit like myself. I'd enjoy that drive.
You and me both, Tim. You and me both. Cars are lining up on the grid for semi-final number 2. Very much looking forward to seeing who's going to come out on top of this one. Can Sebastian Loeb make it through from towards the rear of the grid?
And this semi does have the potential for danger, with some quick guys at the front and the back.
Andreas Baccarat on pole with Matthias Ekstrom alongside him. Row 2 is Johan Kristoffersson and Timur Timosyanov. Good form from him this weekend. And then Sebastian Loeb and Yannis Baumanis. So I wonder if we'll see that equal split again of 3 cars each way. It's very much going to depend what happens on that front row, and possibly Kristoffersson and Timosyanov as well, whether or not they can hook up that all-important start. Here we go. So we've got 4 in, and it's Baccarat who leads.
Yeah, and you know, Ekstrom went for that joke lap even off the start. He never even looked at taking the standard lap. He wanted clear air. He knew he wasn't going to get past Baccarat into the first corner, so good decision from Ekstrom.
On board with Sebastian Loeb, he comes up. We've got Kristoffersson's gone defensive because Timosyanov's looking, and now Loeb's alongside Timosyanov. They're going to race down the hill. Loeb up the inside of Timosyanov. This is where Timur made a pass the other day. Loeb goes to the outside as Timur goes defensive. It should give him better exit speed, but there's nowhere to pass on the gravel down there. The 9-time World Rally champion is trying very hard indeed. Is he going to Joker? He does. Loeb to the Joker. Let's see where he comes out. How quick was Ekstrom and how delayed was Loeb on that last lap? Loeb into the right-hander, a little nip on the bar and then around. And he's going to drop in behind Baumanis and Ekstrom, so maybe time lost him.
Yeah, but they jokered on the first lap, remember, so he's not out of this. It's only the top 3 that go through. He's not out of it.
Out front. Backward has managed to gap Kristoffersson, and again, this is because these two guys are squabbling. Very, very similar situation to what we saw in semi-final number 1. If these two guys hold each other up too much, look at Ekstrom already. He's hunting them down. He uses every inch of the track. The dust flies up as he gets out on the grass.
Bakkerud's going to have to drive absolutely flat out. It depends on where he comes back. Remember, these races are longer, so there's both the opportunity to make up time on the track, but there's also more opportunity for mistakes.
Kristoffersson there almost looked like he was having a think about the joke lap. He's slightly wide on his entrance in, locks the front right down, and now he's having to back it in. And here, Timmer could get the run. So Timmer now's got half a car alongside them. Up the hill. Oh, Kristoffersson's run wide, and Timosjanov's got him. So Kristoffersson on the dirt. You think maybe a problem, Tim?
Possibly. He looked slow all the way through Devil's Elbow, but he looks back on it now. Maybe it was one of those mistakes I was talking about. No, Carlos.
It looks good for now, doesn't it? One locked wheel on the way in, but behind them, Ekstrom is there. Ekstrom is there already, so Ekstrom is definitely going to... Oh! Over the curbs in the background. That's a big jump over the curbs. It was Kristoffersson, so another mistake. Kristoffersson hits the outside curb, and not in a good way.
There was something wrong with the car. It didn't look right from the word from Devil's Elbow, so I think there's something wrong with it, but it's not going to be a yellow or red flag. He's moved the car out of the way, so it's still Bakkerud flat out.
Kristoffersson's luck just does not change. You know, there's 3 events in a row now where he's had pace and an opportunity, and it just hasn't gone his way. I do feel sorry for him. I can see Tommy Kristoffersson just to our right in the Iron Spotter's Day. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was saying about, you know, being a worried dad, seeing Kristoffersson not as high up as he wanted to see him. But I tell you what, Bakkerud, none of his lot are going to be worried, and there's plenty of them here this weekend. A huge number of them up in the VIP 10. Kristoffersson still trying to crawl round outside the window. We can see him heading up the hill, but he's a long way off. Ekstrom chasing down. Who hasn't jokered? Timosjanov hasn't jokered, and Bakkerud out front. Timosjanov being chased by Ekstrom. Bakkerud. I think, can Ekstrom get Bakkerud here, Tim? What's the gap between the two? I think Loeb is a little way off the pace as well, so Loeb, I think, isn't going. There's Kristoffersson coming down the hill. You can see him Bakkerud with Timosjanov and Ekstrom in the background. What's the gap going to be, and is it going to be enough? Could Ekstrom go through to the front row? It was 3.8 last time. It's going to be close on the merge.
That's right on the bubble.
It is. Look at this bottom right. Bottom right, so it's going to be very tight between these two. Bakkerud in, tidy in the focus, but I think Ekstrom might have enough. This is almost a carbon copy of the merge last year. Ekstrom's got it. So Ekstrom has got it from a joker on lap 1. Bakkerud has been dropped down to row 2 of the final. He will not like that. The Focus had the pace, but maybe he should have jokered earlier to defend that.
Yeah, because I think earlier on he had that gap, didn't he? So it's all down to the spotter. The spotter calls it. The driver doesn't know what the other cars have done or what the gaps are, so the spotter calls it.
Especially when it's a long joker like this. Sometimes you can see it, can't you? Some of the circuits where it's a bit closer, you can still see a driver and your mirrors are in the distance, but not here at Lydden. It's a fair old difference to the joker lap. It's Matthias Ekstrom who takes the checker flag and goes through to row 1 in the final. Bakkerud goes with him, and Timosjanov is going to make it as well. So Timosjanov, I think that might be, let's have a look. Timosjanov, that's his first final of the year. So Timosjanov going through to the back row of the grid. Good job by him. And a decent race again. Matthias Ekstrom then wins semi-final number 2. Championship points you can see on the right-hand side. They all get championship points, but only the top 3 go through. Bakkerud and Timosjanov make it. Baumanis, Loeb and Kristoffersson are out. Off the line. Watch this from Loeb. Whoa, that's a flyer, Tim,
that
surely.
That was a great start, and I think he should have followed then Ekstrom through onto the joker lap because he got bundled out wide. He could have been second behind Ekstrom, followed his pace all the way through that race and stood a chance, but here he's bottled up behind everything.
And Loeb was with these guys, but at some point we didn't see it. There was a lot going on, and he's maybe dropped back a bit, so possibly just a little problem for him here. This was Kristoffersson with one of the
already in trouble, struggling to brake, and then he clouts this chicane as he comes. Look, he just high flying there. He just couldn't turn left properly, could he? No, there was a problem on that right front.
Absolutely massive runoff here at Lydden, so nothing to hit, which is obviously great. But he'd had a problem earlier, hadn't he, in the braking zone? This next braking zone, which we'll see down at Devil's Elbow, he'd locked one wheel, but no such problems for Ekstrom. I think maybe if Bakkerud had jokered earlier, he might have been able to defend that, but they both
but he's
go
through to the final.
Yeah.
He's through to the final. I think the loser there was Loeb.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Fantastic to see the crowd here, Tim, in sunshine. This is England after all that home race.
It may be raining in Monaco, folks, but here in good old Lydden Hill in Kent, the sun is out.
Who needs F1? We've got sunshine here. Fantastic. Right, Neil Cole is down with, I think, Matthias Ekström. I think he's managed to grab the winner of semi-final 2.
Matthias, you're pretty pumped after that race win. Good strategy.
Yeah, car was fast and we had good tyres, so now it's all up to the final, but we had so far a very good weekend.
Good luck in the final.
Thanks.
Ekström keen to get the car back, of course, because they got very, very little time to re-prepare it. A little bit of water being put down on the track. Not sure what the drivers will think about that, because obviously that's going to change the conditions just ahead of the final. But
yeah, but once it's in the final, it's winner takes all,
and
isn't
it is the same for everyone.
Yes.
It is the same. It's not about time, of course. It's all about racing. So, well, whatever the track conditions, I'm sure the action will be mega. And we're final of round 4 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship soon. Of course, we've got RX lights before that. Flags cracking in the wind. 2 lovely days to come and watch the racing here. Full house. We're looking down there at some of the drivers preparing to head out for the RX Lights final. It was Dan Rook on the left, British driver. Unfortunately, didn't make it through to the final, but said it was a useful learning process anyway, Tim.
Yeah, very much so for him. I mean, these cars are mini supercars. Yes, he's racing a DS3 supercar and leading the British Rally Championship, but this is great preparation for the World Championship.
It is, yeah, it is. He said it was just a different style of driving. And I think we saw the same with Tom Cole last year when he won the RX Light Challenge, came out and ended up following some of the drivers too, because they spend so much time in his cars, super accurate and tight. It's just a different way of doing it. Well, Hal Ridge has also got his reporter's badge on today. He's down in the paddock and he has managed to grab Timmy Hansen. So let's hear from him.
Timmy, second in the semi-final, and you're joined by your brother in the final. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels awesome. Me and Kevin. So, it's cool. It's a repeat of Argentina. We get another chance to fight for podiums, and it's obviously the big one coming up. So I'm starting 4th, him 5th. So, it's try to discuss strategy, but it's difficult. It's rallycross.
Do you go joker or normal lap on the first lap?
We'll see. It all depends on the start. You can't have plans here. So yeah, we gotta take it as it comes. Hopefully, I do a really good start, and I can be in the fight for the podiums and for the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Interesting to hear Timmy say there's no plan. I think I kind of agree with him, Tim. But on the other hand, when you're on the left-hand side of the grid, it's a much more likely option.
I'd rather say there's a plan, but it's very adaptable depending on what sort of start you make.
What happens?
Because they will have considered the what-if scenarios. They watch it just like we do, and they have to be flexible and be prepared to react, but there will be a vague plan in their mind for sure.
And he's pleased to see Kevin's gone through. Of course, him and Kevin, it didn't go well in Argentina. I think they both ended up off the track, if I remember. There was contact between them, but it wasn't the contact that put them off. I can't remember, one spun in the dust, I think. There's Solberg. And there's his son, Oliver, who's been winning at cross-car. Oh, bless him. Look, Oliver going up to wish his dad luck. It's great to see.
Well, with a good luck hug like that, he can't go wrong. And there's the opposite end of the spectrum, a very disconsolate 9 times world rally champion Sebastian Loeb. But it's part of the process, He's not been here before, and Lydden has can be a cruel twist of fate, can't it? As just ask Kristoffersson.
It can indeed. Loeb chatting away with Bruno Faman. They'll be hoping for a good result from the Hansens. Well, the RX lights are rolling up to the grid. One make championship, of course, on the same Cooper tyres that are used by the main championship. The last 2 champions have ended up in the World Championship, Kevin Eriksson and Kevin Hansen. Here are the championship standings as they come here to the UK. Leading at the minute is Thomas Brintersen. Brintersen taking wins in Hockenheim and in Belgium. Had his problems in Belgium, rolled it, but still managed to get to the top of the table. Cyril Raymond 10 points behind, then Joachim Baal, Olofsson, Vagos Versen, Evshen, Westland and Hirani. These cars all very evenly matched, and it will be a tight final between them. Here is the grid then for the final of the RX Lights. Cyril Raymond on pole position here with Simon Olofsson. Joachim Baal on road 2 with Sondre Evshen. And at the back, Simon Vagos Versen and the championship leader, Thomas Brintersen.
So Brinderson's got it all to do from the back of the grid. Be interesting to see how he makes his way through.
It will indeed. They repainted the roof of that car in Belgium after he rolled it overnight, which I thought was amazing, repainting a roof in an awning just to make it look nice.
Well, it wouldn't win a concourse, but it's good enough for rallycross.
Yeah, certainly good enough. Had his problems. He missed Q2 because he had a problem with the ECU. What can Championship leader Brinderson do from the back of the grid? Cyril Raymond gets a good start with Simon Olofsson alongside him. Olofsson, though, I think has got the jump on him, so Olofsson goes into the lead. Brinderson slots in. Oh, Raymond's gone up the inside, so Cyril Raymond up the inside. I have a question there about track limits, Tim, maybe, but down in the joke lab, that's definitely Val that's gone into it, and with him has gone Evshan.
Well, I think they were very equal going into this, still banging into each other. Look at that, down in the devil's elbow.
Olofsson gets the better of Vego Sversen, so that was nicely done too. I mean, you know, these guys, while they're learning the trade, are racing hard, and they'll need to if they move up to the World Championship.
Yeah, there's no hardcore blast or given.
Oh, Vego Sversen having a look up the inside again now. They're going to lose a bit of time here, but this is all about the win.
It is all about position. Olofsson, who made a good start, very disappointed probably to drop to second, didn't want to lose another one to Vego Sversen.
What did you think there about Raymond? You saw it in turn one as well. I mean, the blocking bollards, if you like, on the inside are further in than we've seen them in recent years to stop too much contact with them. But I thought Raymond might have been four wheels on the grass. I mean, we'll see. But
well, as a driver, I think that was all perfectly okay. I mean,
you would say that,
back in my day, we always used to pass on the green stuff, so that was all okay by me.
Oh, Brinderson having a look up the inside of Vego Sversen. Lovely job. Brinderson moves up a space. That's Brinderson up to third. He hasn't jokered yet, but that puts him in a podium position. This is a good job by him.
That was a lovely move. He got the drive off Jesson's drift and carried his momentum with a good, clean lunge up the inside.
I think he'll struggle to get to Raymond, but you never know. So Raymond and Olofsson out front. Brinderson is at least on the back of them, and the guys behind him have jokered. There goes Raymond braking on the gravel. So it seems to me, Tim, they've actually only wetted the outside of the track, and that's going to be important for the Supercar final as well. Of course, they've done it, I think, to keep the dust down, and they haven't wetted the racing line. So quite sensible, especially for the Joker Lap exit where they come off that jump and over the deep gravel.
But it means you don't want to get hung out to dry on that first lap. If you get pushed off the asphalt onto the wet stuff, you're going to be a sitting duck.
Going to lose a lot of time. Brinderson is definitely gaining on the cars in front of him. Plus 2.2 now. Be a wonderful result if he managed to get back. As I saw him earlier, he was really disappointed. Down the left-hand side there, you can see the two ticks for Val and Evshan show you that they have done their Joker laps.
The only two to have done it so far. Is anyone going to go on it this lap?
Yes,
Olofsson's gone.
In. And again, just moving the rear end of the car around. You go up, don't you? Almost over a crest there, and you were saying earlier about if you brake it too late and then the car goes light, you really can end up in trouble.
Yeah. Not a very good rejoin there from Olofsson, but he's lost some time, certainly.
In front of him, that's Evshan. Where's Brinderson? So Brinderson and Raymond now. Vego Sversen as well. Vego Sversen sitting in third place has got to Joker. Olofsson, sorry, has made it back out into fourth, it looks like. So Olofsson is in fourth. Well, I think this is all about the battle at the front. Brinderson is catching Raymond, so this is a great job. But they're going to need to joker on separate laps. I wonder when Brinderson will go, if he wants any chance of getting past, or does he just play the championship game and not worry about it?
Well, they've both left it now, so it'll have to be the last lap anyway. So they're both going to do it on the last lap, but certainly Brinderson will be pleased to have got where he's got, but it's going to be where are they going to join after the joker on this last lap. Raymond's driven a fine race so far.
He has indeed. Brinderson might be gaining him just a little bit, but of course Raymond can afford to back it off if he wants to, because he is out in front. And they're both going to have to joker on this last lap as they come down the hill. Vego Sversen will need to go with them as well.
I think that Raymond could retain the lead, but I think that Brinson's going to come out right in the group. It's going to be very close. I don't think he can hold on to second.
Well,
Here they go.
We will see. Through the right-hander, Raymond turns it in. Brinderson goes with him. Raymond's going to get there, but I think Brinson's going to get swallowed up. So Brinderson is going to drop down. Oh, is he? He's going to come around the outside. So Brinderson around the outside of Olofsson. That was a great drive. Comes off the joker lap and manages to hold on. Really nicely done.
Brinderson did that joker lap really well. Didn't get overexcited. So easy to get excited on the last lap of the final. But he's come from the back, got second. But hats off to Raymond, who's driven a perfect race from the front.
He has indeed. Very, very well well-judged pace by the young Frenchman. He's won a bunch of different rallycross championships in France, has the backing of the federation as well, just like Loeb and Ogier before. And could we be seeing a new rallycross superstar? Cyril Raymond takes it here at Lydden Hill. Brinterson is second. It's a great recovery by him. And Olofsson takes the final spot on the podium. Was that a celebratory donut there, or did he lose it?
Yeah, I think, well, they're supposed to go around the outside of the track, but he's too happy on the loose.
I think they've all gone in. There we go. So Cyril Raymond with 8 points, then Brinterson, Olofsson, Joachim Wahl, Vego Svensson and Evjen. That's the result from the final. Those guys are rolling their way back to the paddock. Have a look, Tim.
Watch this start, because Raymond is second at the moment, but he forces the issue on Olofsson, gets up the inside, and that actually was the crucial move of the race. That's what won him the race.
It was indeed. So there's only a tiny question mark over whether or not he was inside. I think looking at that, I reckon the left wheels were on the gravel. I'll go with you, Tim. Perhaps you can go and represent him in the steward's office. I don't know how much experience you had of the steward's office.
I've never been there.
Oh, really? I'm sure.
That was Brinson just managing to retain second as he finishes Joe Glapp at the end of the lap, and across the line they go. Fine win.
Was indeed. Here are the championship standings. Then Cyril Raymond moves up and takes the lead, so that will be as a result of qualifying and that result. So Brinterson manages to limit the damage. Second place, Joachim Wahl is in third. Well, last year's RX Lights champion, of course, was Kevin Hansen, and he is with Neil Cole, so we can go and have a word with him now ahead of the final.
Kevin Hansen, you are a shining example of how good the lights category is to move to supercars, because you're the reigning champion of that and you're in the final here at Lydden Hill. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing to come back here when I won last year in the RX Lights, and to be here where I started my rallycross career, and I still have the same people around me, so it feels great to get to the final all the way, so it's just amazing.
So what do you have to do in the final to get a good result?
I don't know, there's so fast guys. I'm in the World Rallycross final, so I feel really blessed, but I will go flat out, try to push my Porsche to the limit and see how far we can go.
Well, happy 18th birthday for yesterday and good luck.
Thank you.
What an 18th birthday, eh? That is fantastic. So young, Tim.
I got a stick and a ring to knock down the street with when I was 8. That's all I got.
That was a long time ago. Horse and carts, was it? Oh, wonderful. Well, the Monster Energy girls are headed to the grid for the last time this weekend, because, of course, we've just got one race to go. It's the Supercar final. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Can Andreas Backerud make an impression after losing out in the semi-final to Ekstrom? Hal Ridge is with him now, and we can find out.
Andreas, it's been a really strong weekend for you here at Lydden Hill. Can you finish on the podium here?
Yeah, I think so. If we get the start correct, you know, and if we have the pace like we have had all weekend, we should be up there fighting, and you know, a podium here will be a victory. So yeah, I will be stomping on the loud pedal, you know.
Thank you.
Backerud all smiles as always. It's worth noting as well that Kevin Hansen, who we spoke to a moment ago, this is his first World RX final this year, of course, winning last time out in Euro RX. Timur Timosyanov is down there, and we can have a catch-up with him as well.
Timur, it's great to see you make it into the final. I know your history with Lydden hasn't been great. What are you going to do in the final?
It seems like every time when I've been here in the final, I need to escape the puncture in the chicane. Hopefully it's happened.
And then if you escape the puncture, go for a win, or at least a podium?
Yeah, we plan to win. We try to win now, and we'll see what's happening in the final. I don't know. I can't say exactly, but for the podium first fight, for the first victory, for second fight.
Good luck, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Well, good effort from Timur. We had a brilliant chat with him earlier on this week, and if you haven't seen it, go and find it on YouTube. We asked Timur about the history of his competitiveness in Lydden Hill, and he ran through various different scenarios of misery or not being allowed into the country. So he really is very funny, Timur. If you ever get to meet him, he's lovely, hilarious. So let's see if Timur can get a good result. Everybody's eyes are going to be on last year's winner, Petter Solberg, who is on pole position. We can have a chat with him now.
Petter, I can see you looking very intently at the car of Matthias Ekstrom. You've got to beat him this time, haven't you?
I'm sorry?
You've got to beat Matthias.
It's a plan, yeah. He did very fast now, and but he had 4 new tires in the semi, so... but now it's a little bit different. Now we are closer on the tires, it looks like. Maybe warm tires on the start line will help him. But we will see. I'm in top form, and I'm looking forward to this. And my son is pushing me hard also, so I have to do something.
And what tires are you on, and have you turned the engine full up to 110?
Not engine full.
you know, we have broken one engine earlier this year, so if you're going to win the championship, you have to have reliability also. So we are not in that position yet.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, Petter looking nervous, as he always does before the final.
But being professional, looking what the others... He didn't actually answer the question, what tyres is he on? But, of course, we know he had new tyres in the semi as well. So I'm reckoning his tyres and Ekstrom tyres about equal. What a fantastic matchup we've got. Ekstrom's won the last 2 World Finals. He obviously, Solberg was the winner here last year, and he set the fastest lap so far this weekend. The stage is set for a fantastic battle.
Cannot wait. Can Ekstrom reverse that result from last year and make it 3-1, or is Petter going to equal the score this year at 2-2, or is Bakkerud going to come through and say, no, it's my turn,
it's not
chaps.
just about those two. And, you know, the other thing about this is that if you choose to take that Joker on lap 1, although it gives you clear air, because it's a longer race, you run the risk of catching up cars that are at the back of the group that haven't jokered, and you could actually slow yourself up. That doesn't happen so much in a 4-lap race.
Very, very tricky tactics. And as a couple of the drivers have said, nearly all of them in the past, you can have a plan, but it might well go out the window. There are some of the fans here at Lydden Hill. Great to see so many smiling faces. It really has been a brilliant weekend. The birthplace of Rallycross. 49 years ago the sport began here. Big 50th celebration next year, I'm sure. Here's Solberg heading up for his tyre warm. It's the tarmac corner, which is above the gravel paddock bend. So that's the real paddock bend, if you like, with the gravel version being inside, and Solberg with a perfect start. Dips the nose of the car. You can still see that softness, Tim, which he's had in the car pretty much since he started in Rallycross.
He always likes a bit of pitch in the car, which is what helps to transfer the weight onto the front, get the direction change, get the rotation almost instantly.
There he is, strapped into the car, as you saw just a few moments ago, by the team. God, I feel nervous. I love the build-up to the final. I absolutely love it. I really do. It was interesting to hear Loeb talking back in Belgium about the adrenaline of a rallycross start. And of course, he's done World Touring Cars. It's not like he hasn't done any, but I think it's the 600 horsepower, and it's also the fact you're in a line, Tim. You know, there isn't another motorsport like it for the start.
No, trust me, a 2-litre touring car doesn't go off the line quite like a 4-wheel drive 600 horsepower rally car.
That's what Andrew Jordan says. It's always funny when Andrew goes and tests a supercar and then he goes back to touring cars. I think, you know, it feels a bit tame for him,
Yes, I'm sure it does.
But still doing well in British touring cars, and we're looking forward to having him back in World RX, hopefully at some point. Missing this weekend. No Brits in the semi-finals this year. No Guy Wilkes, no Liam Doran. So maybe next year. They didn't make it through, and of course none in the final as a result. Timosyanov, wild card for the final, but he's got some good pace on it.
If things go his way, there could be a podium there. It's not out of the question. This is going to be one hell of a final. He's driven well. Every car in this final is a really rapid car.
Well, strap yourselves in, because we are good to go. Petter Solberg on pole with his arch rival this season, Matthias Ekstrom, alongside him. Row 2, Andreas Bakkerud and Timmy Hansen, the 2 young rallycross drivers coming through to the front. Kevin Hansen, even younger, brother of Timmy, and Timur Timosyanov, the double European champion at the back. Here we go, anti-lag on, lights on, round 4 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship is about to be settled in an epic fight. Oh, dreadful start, Bakkerud goes backwards, Timmy Hansen moves across on his brother Kevin, Ekstrom goes straight into the choke lap, Timosyanov goes with him, and Petter Solberg leads down into the standard lap, so disaster for Bakkerud.
Bakkerud is one right at the back, languishing at the back. What a shame for him. But Ekstrom made that decision, I think, straight away to go for the Joker. We'll see how that works out. The 2 Peugeots in 2nd and 3rd, and Solberg will now give us everything that he's got.
If you look in the background, you see Timosyanov chasing Ekstrom as well, and Kevin Hansen right behind Timmy. Kevin will want a good result here, but he's not going to do anything silly, I hope, Tim, because there will be words.
Yeah, no, definitely not. He's obviously, as the younger, the academy driver, he's not going to do anything silly. But they've both got great people to follow, haven't they? They can follow Solberg, and of course Timosyanov can follow Ekstrom.
Yeah, so the pace of these 2 packs, if you like, these 2 separate packs, is going to be very quick indeed. Last year, of course, we saw the strategy split, and it came down to the merge on the last lap, and it went Solberg's way. Ekstrom wants to do what he did in the semi-final and just nip away at that gap, and he's chasing him down already. There is Ekstrom in the background, so Ekstrom gets the Monster Energy Supercharge award. He was the first man into the first corner. Big green line painted across the road for that one. But Solberg is the leader at the minute. The only people are Ekstrom, Timosyanov and Backward and Joker. Backward looks to be going a little bit slowly to me. He's just gone up the hill past our competition. Look at the dirt flying up. They're using all the road. Are any of them going to Joker? I guess I'm kind of thinking, do you send Kevin and keep Timmy on, but he wants to follow his brother maybe?
Well, yeah, they could have split that strategy maybe, because they are running in dust and that does hurt visibility, but they're not losing much ground. Look, the gaps between them, and look at Solberg. He was pushing track limits out of Devil's Elbow last time round and does again now.
So Solberg, if you're Solberg spotter now, what do you do, Tim? Do you send him early to defend from Ekstrom? Because Ekstrom's pushing hard in the background.
Ekstrom's there. If you look behind, he's less than the Joker lap time difference, only 3 seconds.
There it is. So at the minute, Ekstrom, what's it going to be? Minus 0.8. So what's Petter going to do? Is Petter got to hold on? And Petter, I think, has gone the Joker. So Petter goes into the Joker lap. Ekstrom on the inside. Look for the white car in P2. Kevin Hansen has gone with Petter. Petter comes out, but it's going to be the other way around. Ekstrom has got in front of Petter Solberg, and they're going to have to race to the line for the last 2 laps. So this is going to come down to whether or not Petter can get past Ekstrom. Has he held something in reserve? What's he found?
Solberg just didn't seem to have that electric pace. He wasn't pulling away from the Hansen cars, no disrespect to them, but he wasn't gapping them in the way that he needed to hold off Ekstrom, who took the Joker on lap 1.
On board with Solberg now as he comes down Harry Hill towards Paddock Bend, around 120 miles an hour. He's desperate to chase Ekstrom. Ekstrom's looking to do a triple here, 3 in a row. And at the minute he's on for it, so Ekstrom in front. Timmy Hansen yet to Joker. He's the only one still to Joker, so Timmy leading, but I think it's clear that when he does Joker, he's going to drop behind both these guys. In fact, if he's not careful, Timmy could drop behind Kevin.
Yeah, I think he might well do, actually, but of course, Ekstrom is really trying to make up for that defeat from Solberg here last year, but Solberg's not given up, you know. He's closed that gap a little bit. He's giving it everything.
I wonder if Solberg's used too much of his tyres. Maybe. It's just a question mark over it. We know he's flamboyant in terms of his driving style. To be fair, they're all backing it in roughly the same places. I wouldn't have looked at it this year as we have done in previous years and said, is he using the tyres too much? Timmy Hansen goes into the Joker lap. Timmy Hansen's going to come out and try and get himself in behind these guys. Timmy and Kevin is going to be the race for the final spot on the podium. Timmy Hansen around the outside, and he does beat his younger brother Kevin, which I'm sure he'll be relieved about. Maybe Mum and Dad will as well.
Well, I think they'll just be pleased to see their guys come through.
It's going to be a brilliant result for Kevin Hansen, but I think the best result, certainly, and maybe unexpected after the pace that Petter Solberg has showed this weekend. Matthias Ekstrom has been in imperious form. He was knocked off the TQ spot by Petter Solberg, but he is not going to be knocked off the top step of the podium. Matthias Ekstrom comes through and takes his 3rd win in a row. Second place goes to Petter Solberg, and in 3rd is Timmy Hansen, followed by his brother Kevin. What a job by EKS RX. Can anybody stop Ekstrom this season? 3 wins in a row. Fantastic stuff, and what a way to recover from being knocked off the TQ spot. Solberg looked like he'd found a response, and Ekstrom's gone, nah, not yet.
Yeah, well, in the final, he had it for him, didn't he? Ekstrom had enough for him. It looked like Solberg had the pace this weekend from some blistering times. Whatever the reason behind it, Ekstrom managed that race perfectly. Went for the Joker on lap 1, had really good pace, and was able to rejoin in the lead position and wins here at Lydden.
Great job. Hanging out the side of the car. Be careful, Matthias. He's not quite as much of an expert at hanging out the car as Petter. Look, Petter behind him makes it look easy, doesn't he? But either way, the more important trophy is not hanging out the side of the car, it's the win. And there we go.
Good sportsmanship between the two of them.
I was going to say, that's a proper thumbs up and a nod. Petter's found some pace between the 2 events. 2 weeks to Norway, his home event. We've never had a Norwegian winner in Norway. Heading to hell. Love the name of that place. It's amazing. But surely they can't go away and find pace again, but maybe they can analyse things, Tim. Have they overused the tyres?
It could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as tyre use. It could be engine restriction, but here's the result.
Matthias Ekstrom with the win. It's Petter Solberg in 2nd, a reverse of the result from last year. Timmy Hansen on the final spot on the podium. His brother Kevin just behind him, Timosyanov and Andreas Backerud. Well, brilliant final and a fantastic win for Matthias Ekstrom and EKS RX.
You just had to ask your colleague if that was 3 in a row. It's definitely 3 in a row. Congratulations. What's the story of this weekend?
Yeah, that's an incredible story. You know, he did, like you said, 3 in a row, but it's an effort from the whole team. You know, every member is doing the perfect job this weekend again. And we could keep a bit of fresh tire, you know, for semi and final. It was a risky strategy, but everything worked pretty well, I must say.
Matthias is always very cool and calm and organised, but just then, leaning out of the car and celebrating, you can see how important it was to beat Petter here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we can see that he is really with a lot of joy, you know, out of the car, and for sure Petter was leading every heat and semi and so on, and you know, beating him in the final, it means something for him, and for sure it's good.
It's good for you too. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It means more. Ekstrom doing donuts. Ekstrom is doing donuts down at the bottom of Hairy Hill. He's sending the car into a big old spin. Here's the replays from the final. Ekstrom into the Joker lap on lap 1. Great job by him. Tim, such an emotional response from the team manager as well. Tears in the eyes there. These guys are working hard, and it was a great job.
This is a world championship. You know, it's no surprise that a win like that brings out the emotions in a hard-working team. Just 2 weeks after Belgium, of course.
Solberg unable to get the job done this time. There's Ekstrom. Down with the team, all shouting at him. And lying across the bonnet of the Audi. He's loving it. It's a brilliant job. Matthias Ekstrom has taken wins at Hockenheim, Belgium, and now in the UK as well. 3 in a row. Solberg over to congratulate him. Solberg will mean that, but he will also be gutted. Solberg's a better loser than Matthias, I will say that. Matthias hates losing. We did a great interview with him.
I think Petter's a better actor. Trust me, it hurts every bit as much. He hates it just as much to lose. But yeah, it could be tyre usage. We know that Petter was conserving tyres in Q4, and I thought that would give him a good set for the final. But indeed, go hard or go home. That's his mantra, and he's certainly stuck by it.
Now we can go home. I mean, with another trophy. Best order a bigger trophy cabinet. There we are. Obligatory cap on. So another look back then at the final. So this was Hansen up behind. I think this is the rear-facing onboard with Solberg. And there's Kevin Hansen behind Timmy. A little bit of dust. These guys went with him. I mean, it's nice to see Timmy back on the pace as well. I still think there's a tiny little difference between the ultimate pace, which I actually think Bakker was probably on the ultimate pace this weekend too. Obviously had a problem in the final coming 6th, but Timmy's there as well now. So, you know, this championship's wide open, Tim.
It's like I said at the start of the programme, there are so many drivers who can lap within so close of the ultimate pace that actually, you know, each race is wide open. Just to get to the final is a massive achievement.
Yeah, certainly. Solberg smoking the tyres up, and as we say, you know, was it just a little bit too much?
Well, he didn't pull away from the Hansen cars, did he, the way we would have expected based on
which
the qualifying
he did in the semis
races.
even in the semis.
So there was something not quite right there. This is the final lap, and Solberg goes for that Joker. All eyes were on Ekstrom to see where he was going to come back.
And it was job done. Look, it was, you know, last year, do you remember, it was a race off the Joker.
Not this time.
It's only 10 metres in it, but he properly flipped the result, didn't he? Didn't have to race him down to Devil's Elbow. It was job done. He would have known as he came through the Joker, I'm sure, and had a little glance to the left that he'd got the better of the Norwegian champion.
There was just enough sort of drift on Ekstrom's car. He was going forwards and drifting, and Solberg was just a little bit too sideways. Not getting the drive.
We'll see. So the pace is there. I'm sure we'll find out from Petter later on today what his thoughts are on it, whether he used the tyres too much or whether there was a problem with the car. You just never know. Great stuff from the final. Brilliant results for Ekstrom and Solberg. And Timmy Hansen too, with his first podium of the year. While racing finished here at Lydden Hill. That's Kevin Hansen celebrating down in the pits, but he won't be celebrating as much as Petter Solberg, who Neil Cole is with. Now, Ekstrom, sorry.
Matthias, that must have been the perfect way to get revenge on Petter for what happened here last year.
Yeah, I mean, last year I was so disappointed when I were here, and I can remember standing here, finishing P2, and I felt we had the car to win, and I just couldn't, personally, me as a driver, couldn't make the best out of it, and the motivation was extremely high to give Petter a run for his money. But then in Q1 we had a small hiccup with the engine, then in Q4 a puncture, so I felt okay, I'm so happy just to reach the semis in a decent place. Then I had a good semi. Into the final I started thinking I'm at least going to give it everything, and when I realized that I saw Petter joking, I was in front, I still were like, yeah, it's not over, I have to focus. I make one big mistake and Petter came closer again, and to win here, it's, you know, it feels more justification to my guys, because last year I think I should have brought them a big trophy, and now finally they get one, so I'm really happy.
That's the third big trophy in a row this season. 3 out of 4 race final wins.
I don't like it.
That's Petter Solberg joining in there. He doesn't like it, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I have to say Petter was the man this weekend. I was so amazed how fast he were. Q1, Q2, Q3. He didn't put a foot wrong the whole time, and his semi as well. And I mean, I know it all comes down to the end. Still, I think he has more points than I have over the weekend. But somehow the trophy for the moment has a big value to me, because I know the point scoring thing, I think Petter is not going to give in, and it looks to be a really close fight the whole year between us.
Well done, enjoy the podium.
Thanks a lot.
The trophy is the more important thing, Tim. That's fair enough. Well, here are the Drivers' Championship standings after round 4 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Matthias Ekström continues to lead, now by 4 points from Petter Solberg, Kristoffersen, Sebastian Loeb and Toppy Heikkinen. So the top 5 remain unchanged in their order, though, of course, with different points. Backrud and Timmy Hansen move up, and Kevin Eriksson moves down. Well, Petter Solberg won here last year. This year he was just edged by Ekström. He's down now, and he can have a chat with Neil Cole. We'll hear why.
Petter, if anyone was ever to wonder how competitive you are, you're comparing points off camera with Matthias Ekström. What does it mean to not win when it looked like you were lined up for a win here?
Well, it doesn't matter. He said that he gained 1 point on me, so I think that's a very good. No, I'm very happy. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. Very good racing. Everything. My car has been working fantastic. My Citroën DS3 is perfect. But I think with the performance we have done from the last race, I've been showing good. And I think they have a little bit better tire strategy than us. You know, I did a little bit wrong in the intermediate, I must say. So, but I think that is the only maybe difference, because I'm fully confident. Car is fast, and it's been great. You know, good atmosphere. So next time. Yeah, next time.
There will be more times, don't you worry. I think we have 8 fights left, if I counted right, or 7, maybe.
Yeah. So it's only 4 points between us now, yeah? Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks, Petter.
Yeah, thank you.
More fights indeed. There's a whole rest of the season still to go. Here are the team standings then after round 4. EKS continuing to lead, and my goodness me, that is a decent lead. But Team Peugeot Hansen showing that the pace is coming back. They move up just ahead of Volkswagen RX Sweden, who dropped down a place. Everybody else remaining where they were. Hoonigan, Team Austria, OMSE and All Include Munich. Well, the final podium man is down with Neil Cole now. We can have a catch-up with Timmy Hansen about a big improvement in form.
Timmy, the beginning of the season hasn't been amazing for you, but so podium here in Lydden Hill must feel good.
Oh, it feels amazing to be back on the podium. This third place feels like a victory to me. You know, we have fought so hard and had a lot of bad luck. And these 2 guys in front, they have such good speed at the moment. And I couldn't quite follow in the final. I did everything I could, but no, I was losing 10th by 10th, and finally came out from the Joker in 3rd. But you know, it's amazing to be back on the podium. It's not easy to get up there in World Rallycross, but we're back.
And you showed your brother who's boss as well. Well done.
Yeah, Kevin behind. I'm really happy for him. This is best result in World Rallycross.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's definitely worth noting that result from Kevin. It is a good result from him. You can see him in the background there. I think Timmy definitely confirming there's a performance gap. It's only a small one. They're on the way to closing it between the Peugeot and the Audi and Petter. But Petter and Matthias, I'm thinking this could go all season, Tim.
Well, it certainly looks like it, doesn't it? With only 4 points between them, it's nothing. And, with the way that Petter is scoring in the qualifying races, he's keeping really good scores up there. But, a bad meeting for one of them could really be hard to recover from in the points.
Well, the other thing, of course, is will Matthias do the whole championship? He's got one more DTM clash coming up at the end of the year. He'd love to build a big enough points lead that it wouldn't matter, but I guess it's going to come down to Audi in the end to decide which of the championships he focuses on. It'd be nice to be in a position where you've got to choose, wouldn't it? Which, DTM or the World Rallycross
Well, it'll be an Audi decision, won't it? Yeah. But if you're in line to win possibly a World Championship or not win a DTM Championship, I think I know what they'll choose.
He loves to win, and he's just in fantastic form. Brilliant team, really inclusive, all the fans in there. They have a little fan zone in there which brings the fans in. And we've got a great paddock in World Rallycross. If you've not been to an event, you must come because you've got such good access to these wonderful drivers, and they're all good guys. They've got time for the fans, and EKS make a big effort to include them. So well done to them. It's a big step up in performance this year. Everybody else has got to do the same. Petter's done it between Belgium and here, and if the others can close the gap too, we're looking at some thrillers as the season goes on. Monster Energy Supercharge Award.
Presented by Nicholas Hamilton, Lewis's brother, and clearly enjoying World Rallycross a bit more than F1 in Monaco.
Great to see Nicholas here instead, isn't it? Come and have a look at this sport. Champagne time. That feels good, doesn't it? Fantastic. Matthias Ekström, 3 wins in a row. And at the birthplace of Rallycross as well. Solberg making sure that's got to go in the wash. In fact, he shoved the whole bottle down the front. There we go. It stinks, by the way. Tim does these horrible stuff.
Very sticky, especially that high-quality champagne that they use here.
I noticed that the Monster Energy girls didn't arrive on the stage until after the champagne. They've learned, haven't they, very quickly what to do if you don't want to have horrible champagne sprayed all over you all the while for the way home. The drivers crouching down on the podium for a lovely podium shot. Fantastic job by all 3 of them. 3 in a row for Matthias Ekström.
One this way, social, thank you. Look back.
Had to look back. And down the front,
Fantastic sunshine all weekend long at Lydden Hill, the birthplace of Rallycross, and it's given us some absolutely wonderful action. Look at that. 5 cars in a line, thousands of horsepower heading down towards turn 1. Tim Harvey, you've been with us 3 years now. Have you had a good weekend?
It's been a pleasure. The quality, the speed, the excitement just goes up every year.
Unfortunate not to see either of the Brits make it this time round. Guy Wilkes we saw not coming through, of course. Liam Doran as well, Julian Godfrey. They all had their issues during qualifying, but the fans enjoying themselves.
It's been brilliant. A record turnout, record lap speeds, a great final. All the finals have been great.
Brilliant. Tim Harvey, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you along again for the World Rallycross ride. Matthias Ekström, it looked to me, there was that puncture. Here was where the Brits pulled off, both of them with their problems. Liam with his hands on his hip. Petter Solberg, unstoppable during the first 3 qualifying sessions. It was only when it came to Q4 that Bakker had showed that there was pace in everybody else as well. Bakker managing to pip him, stopping him taking that clean sweep. Did he use the tyres too much in qualifying? We'll find out. We'll ask him later on. I'm sure he'll come back with a decent answer for us. Argy-bargy off the start line, but brilliant tactics from Matthias Ekström, taking the Joker lap on lap 1, both in the semi and the final. Johan Kristoffersson found a jump at Lydden Hill, one that we hadn't designed in. There's one at the exit of the Joker lap, but that's a new one for everyone. Ekström taking the win in semi-final 1. This was the lights final, of course. Brilliant fight there too. Brinderson coming from the back of the grid and managing to make his way up into a podium position. Cyril Raymond, though, taking the lead in the championship. And then on to the final for World RX. That bad start for Bakker, and it's a shame, but I'm sure we'll see the focus on the pace again. They continue to learn to go quicker and quicker. Strategy split, there was the merge. It was a mirror of last year, but this time it was Ekström who came out in front. The Swede crossing the line to take his 3rd win in a row. Brilliant job by him. Petter Solberg giving him the thumbs up, but Solberg will want to hit back as soon as he possibly can. Ekstrom and the Audi, are they unstoppable? We'll find out in a fortnight's time. You can join us when we head to hell in Norway.